everyone. Welcome to night 2 of the All-Star League tournament from THL. This is Verde or John, and joined with me is Hertz Donut or Dan.
Hey.
And Stephen Cassidy or Cassidy.
What's up, THL?
Yeah, and we've got an exciting night for you. We've got the 2 All-Star teams of the Gadgetjan Auctioneers, led by the fearless Imbolc. And that team has D Lineman and Microwave on it. And going up against them are the Warsong Commanders, led by Slimsh. And that team has Clark Kent or Katoda on it. So some seriously stacked teams here. Should be pretty fun. To go over the format really quickly before we start here. It's a best of 11. Both teams will be bringing 6 classes, 6 unique classes. Each player represents 2 of those classes and must win with them for the team to win. If a player loses 2 games in a row, they will be benched and cannot play again until one of their teammates wins a game. So, did I miss anything, guys?
No, I think you got it.
Cool. So yeah, this should be really exciting to go over, and we'll have this up on the screen, but to go over the classes, Imbolc is bringing Mage Druid, D Lineman's bringing Warrior Warlock, Microwave is bringing Hunter Paladin. So this actual lineup is the exact same lineup as the Starving Buzzards brought last night and did extremely well with, wrecking my team, the Undertakers. So it's a very strong lineup and has very few holes in it. The Warsong Commanders bringing Slimsh is bringing Paladin and Mage. Clark Kent is bringing Warlock and Druid, and Katoda is bringing Hunter and Priest. So a little variance there. The Priest. This is the only team that brought Priest, so it should be interesting to see that. What do you guys think? Any predictions? Any thoughts? What do you guys think?
I'm happy to see the Priest, just like I was happy to see the Shaman yesterday rather. Mm-hmm. But not a lot of people play him for a reason. So hopefully it works out. It's a bold strategy.
Yeah,
I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum. I think there's a very clear Power 6 right now, and I'm glad to see that the Auctioneers are sticking to that Power 6, and I think the consistency is it's tough to beat when you know your decks are going to do fairly well.
All I hear when you're saying that is I hate fun. That's all I'm hearing.
I like winning. Winning is fun.
Priest. Cassidy just likes to trash people. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we'll see how this goes. The priest, there's basically 2 different priest archetype types right now, and it'll be interesting to see which one Katoda will be bringing. Right off the bat, we know that we're waiting for the teams to submit their classes, and right off the bat, we know that Slimsh will be bringing opening for his team with Paladin, and we're waiting on the Auctioneers to see what they will open with. Having played this last night, I think it's pretty evident, the team that wins the first game really takes control of the match. Because essentially by doing that, they are able to obviously win a game, but also whoever loses that game, it's pretty safe to say that person won't be coming back.
Right, because there's that risk of being benched.
Exactly. And so it allows the winning team to then kind of predict. It basically narrows the classes down by 33%.
Right, you lose one class, which should make them have a wider range of selection, but due to the benching rule, it turns out that by winning, you only go down by 1 class, and oftentimes they go down by 2.
Right. So it's definitely a huge blow, and so getting a class out there that can win almost any matchup is really good. And Paladin coming from Slimsh is going to be probably very much fit that requirement. The Auctioneers, will, they have a couple good matchups. And it looks like they will actually, we're getting it right now, it looks like it will be Microwave bringing Hunter. So actually, this could be a very, very favorable matchup for the Auctioneers. Hunters, pretty much a very good against almost everything. Druid, or I'm sorry, Warrior can be a problem, but it's definitely an all-around strong class. What do you guys think in that matchup, especially Cassidy, who has played both sides of that coin?
I think it's going to go on what archetype we see from either player. Face Hunter is extremely favored against Secret Paladin, but then mid-range Paladin is extremely favored against Face Hunter. And then if both decks are mid-range, it's kind of a coin flip either way. Actually, I think I would lean a little bit towards Paladin. So I'm interested to see what exactly each player is playing.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of people ladder with a lot of people are laddering with the flare in a hunter, and no matter what the build is. I mean, I guess some of the face hunters can afford that, but a lot of the mid range and even hybrid list I've seen have had flare in it. But as Dan remarked last night, flare is probably not that great in tournament play because you're not playing 80% paladins.
Exactly.
So I don't think we'll see that from Microwave, but
And I don't think there's nearly as much freeze mage threat potential as there was last night.
right, yeah, exactly. Both teams definitely are pretty. Last night there's a lot of freeze mage. We'll see what the mage selections are this night. So we're gonna jump right into this. They have started, Microwave. Speaking about Microwave, I played him earlier this in THL season Kappa, and he actually plays, and he's said that his favorite card is Misdirection. So I will be interested to see if it's in his deck. We see a very aggressive hunter list from him with the abusive and the Worgen. So most definitely either face hunter or some sort of hybrid. We haven't seen any secrets, which is usually kind of the determining factor. But I want to say his misdirection actually straight up won him the game against me. I was playing Rogue, and I had an enormous weapon up and an enormous thing, but I couldn't attack his face or I'd kill myself. And so it is a trap that can work out really well. Right off the bat, we see Slimsh with somewhat of a dream hand, and there's the misdirection. So yeah, that's this is going to be an exciting game, not just your typical ladder game, basically. Yeah. So let's see here. So yeah, really off to a great start. I think, especially Slimsh here. He's got double, the double mini bot is just,
and the cog hammer.
It's just disgusting.
And the zombie chop.
And the zombie chop.
It's really difficult to lose from the position that Slimsh is in.
Well,
if this is a pure face hunter.
If he top decks kind of poorly, he will have kind of an awkward curve.
If he pulls one muster for battle, he's set because he's got late game, so he doesn't need. I feel like he's not going to fall flat on his face here in a few turns.
No.
Right, and he doesn't attack in. He doesn't test the trap. The trap is freezing for the folks at home.
Interesting.
So this is definitely some sort of hybrid list, I would say. The Worgen and the abusive definitely exclude any potential of like a mid-range list. So yeah, definitely I would say a hybrid hunter. Both players with the gold hero power, the gold portraits, so very proficient with their respective classes. Microwave's kind of hitting an awkward turn. That juggler and leash combo is just so good against Paladin. And he's got the coin, so if he can hold on to it for one more turn, he could be in a good spot. I really, I don't know. Like, I feel like that's just awkward to use, but he's just got nothing else to do. Misdirection isn't that great. Just a really awkward turn.
The Hounds doesn't really get you anything either.
Right. No, absolutely. So he puts up Misdirection, and this is something Slimsh will not expect. And I guess we'll probably see the mini-bot go first, right? Assuming, like, you don't want to lose that shield to a freezing trap. So I'd assume to see the mini-bot go in first.
Mm-hmm.
And Slimsh picking up that knife juggler is going to complete his curve, and he's just gaining all the momentum. All right, so the freezing trap goes down, and now he's about to get misdirected, and he's going to play this correctly. Basically not playing any other minions, and that worked out pretty well. That misdirection had minimal impact. It did remove the shield, which is pretty relevant. However, Microwave did use the coins, and now he's another turn away from that deadly Juggler Unleash combo. So, yeah, this is definitely gonna be an uphill battle for Microwave. Yeah, so Slimsh playing both 2 drops. Microwave drawing the Glavezuka. Man, the owl and the chow does not feel good. Maybe. Oh, he's owling the juggler. I can get behind this. What do you think of that play, Steve?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah?
Gotta get something down.
Okay. Yeah, and that zombie chow is basically on heal off to 28. So he's trying to stabilize, and Slimsh now is got an awkward hand. He's got a quartermaster that is next to unplayable. I mean, it just won't get any value. I wouldn't say unplayable.
Mm-hmm.
A 4-mana mini bot, and 2 8-drops. So, yeah, so Slimsh might finally start slowing down, and this is going to
He'll just play his 4-mana mini bot here. He's in no threat of dying in the immediate future, and he knows that he'll outvalue Microwave going forward, so...
Right.
Yeah, he'll just play the expensive mini bot, get a Divine Shield back, and hold out until turn 8, when he can either heal for 8 and draw cards, or play Tyrion.
Holding on to that weapon charge, and we see 2 kill commands. So Microwave, honestly, he can make this game go pretty fast. These jugglers are going to be really, really big here. And one going face, pretty unfortunate. It's kind of awkward.
He's gonna have to trade all the dogs
Yeah, he's gonna have
off.
to trade.
I think you full clear here. And you hold you. Oh, but he's just gonna go face here.
Yeah, I don't know how else he wins.
I guess. Oh no, but
He's not.
Oh,
this is something we saw. In between lines of plays are generally really difficult to win with. You have to kind of go full face or control the board. And Slimsh is going to be able to kill off that very dangerous knife juggler now. I guess he could have done it with his face.
the weapon.
But that would be taking a lot of damage. And now Slimsh has full board control. Microwave has no minions. Granted, that's a ton of damage, but can he get there? And can he do it before the land hands comes down?
No way.
No.
Yeah, it's not... Yeah, that's
he-
basically... He'd have to do 10 damage per turn. And that wouldn't even...
Let me.
Yeah, he's going into turn 6. Yeah, he could do 10 damage per turn and theoretically do it. Oh, man. That's a bad draw. We haven't seen any chargers for Microwave's deck, so we don't know if it's full-blown war, what is that called?
Well, we did see the freezing trap and the misdirection, so I wouldn't think it's
Like full-blown
Too full-on,
face.
yeah.
That's a great point. And freezing trap's generally really weak to...
But given that, we also haven't seen any.
Yeah, this Tyrion and Lay on Hands is about to crush Microwave's world. And that can cause a lot of tilts. And now, Slimsh, honestly, like, he's going to be able to heal next turn or play Tyrion. I assume he'll probably heal since it's not weak out. But he
I don't
does
see a
next turn
way.
lethal.
Yeah.
Right? That's
Explosive trap doesn't
9
do
plus
anything
4.
for you anymore.
So this needs to be like...
Not that.
Not that. And generally... And why not play the Knife Juggler first, I guess? I mean, I don't think it'll matter. Slimshow's next turn lethal, so Microwave has to play defensively, and that is something Hunters are not well equipped to do. As you said, the Explosive Trap, which is one of the best kind of plays for a Hunter, is just not going to work. Oh man, the
Yikes.
heal bot. If I'm Slimshear, you could even go for the tilt factor and use the top decked heal bot.
Right, instead of.
I mean, you're so close to lethal, and he's not. I mean, you've seen both kill commands. Slimsh is not an idiot, so he's going to use the land hands. Also worth noting, Slim is playing just sort of your mid-range paladin, no secret paladin. So that is 0 for 3 from secret paladins right now in this tournament. I guess THL is not a fan of Cancer.
We're just
Haters.
above that.
Yeah, just just a little bit above it. And that quick shot is exactly what Microwave needs, but
But is it really?
and he's gonna commit the honorable concede. So the Commanders are gonna jump out to that ever pivotal, vital first win with Paladin. And that mid-range Paladin, I think, is just such a good class. Like, it has very few bad matchups. In fact, looking at the Auctioneers lineup of Mage, Druid, Warrior, Warlock, Hunter, Paladin, I'd venture to say that it really only struggles against potentially Mage, especially if it's Freeze Mage, but Tempo Mage could also give it some trouble. So yeah, excellently played. I think Slimsh played it pretty perfectly, even down to the misdirection, not playing those other minions before checking. And Microwave kind of just drew really, really poorly, and I guess was kind of stuck in the middle of the road between trading and going face. What did you guys think?
It felt like a poor matchup, and it felt like Microwave never fully committed to either line of play.
Right.
And a slower deck like a mid-range Paladin that has healing just loves that because it's going to drag the game on.
Yeah, and mid-range Paladin is such a fun class. I loved it right before TGT. I actually played quite a bit of it, and I just love how mid-range Paladin, like, it goes from just playing defensively with the mini bots and trading, and then hero powers, and then suddenly Quartermaster comes down, and it's suddenly like the aggro deck, and it don't put anyone on their heels. It's a fun deck, and I think really good. Unfortunately, Secret Paladin's giving it a bad name on ladder right now.
Mid-range Paladin's out and about on ladder, though.
That's true.
Because it directly beats Secret Paladin most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's harder to use than Secret Paladin, and Secret Paladin is, yeah. Anyway, I'm a little, a little angry at Secret Paladin right now. Might have just jumped off ladder, All right. So we will wait to hear what's the next selection from the Commanders. They have Mage, Warlock, Druid, Hunter, Priest. What do you think? So basically, Microwave's lost there, and losing the Hunter, and what we could probably assume to be Secret Paladin, knowing that Microwave is a very aggressive player. What do you want to do here as the Commanders? I mean, can we corner any decks against the Auctioneers? What do you guys think?
Well, that D-Lineman's all about handlock.
Handlock and heavy control.
Heavy control, yeah. So those are pretty known. And then Druid, I don't think has ever surprised anyone in the last year. And then
in bulk
the Mage is a question.
Yeah, in bulk on Mage is a question. I don't know how much the Commanders know about in bulk, but he is a very proficient Freeze Mage player. So I would expect to see Freeze Mage from him. So it would be interesting. Like, they've got a lot of control decks. So I guess a mid-range deck, I guess it's like maybe Druid would be the go-to here. It beats Mage, it beats Warrior, it beats Handlock, and it's got a 50-50 on Druid. So it looks like we are going to see, it looks like the Auctioneers already know who they're going to, and they're going to go with Imbolc. We're still waiting on which class specifically. And the Commanders have not yet selected it. So Imbolc. Let's see here. I'm glad, Steve. I'm glad that you survived the night and you're not underwater.
I'm not. It's still raining though, so
Jeez.
We don't know.
So
it has not, to my knowledge, it has not stopped raining in the last 36 hours.
So is there a chance that at some point you will just have to leave?
I don't think so, because the rain is starting to lighten up. But I mean, I guess there's probably a small chance. They're telling people not to drive, so I guess I could go swimming if I had to.
Right.
Or I could just play Hearthstone and pretend everything's okay. That's been working out for me so far.
Imbolc will be on Druid, by the way. I don't know if I said that. So we have that information. But I think Druid's a pretty good pick here from Imbolc. I think it's very likely that the commanders will bring Druid because it's so good against Warrior, Warlock, Mage, assuming the Mage is freeze. And basically, Druid is going to give them their best chance at winning. And it looks like maybe the commanders were able to double juke, assume the Druid bring, and they will be bringing Katoda on Hunter. So, okay. So yeah, we will get into that. It looks. So Cassidy, who would you think is his favorite here?
In which matchup? I'm sorry.
Druid versus Hunter.
Mid-range Hunter. Presumably, it's a mid-range Hunter against a mid-range Druid. I would think the Hunter is favored.
Okay, and Dan, do you agree? Do you disagree?
I don't know that I agree, actually, because if you get your aspirants out, I mean, it depends a lot on your draws, because the Hunter could just go too fast. But if you get aspirants out and you get taunted up Druid of the Claw, you have keepers that can either silence something or take out a Huffer. I feel like you have answers. The only thing a Druid doesn't have is healing. So as soon as it starts to lose that ground, it's not really going to make it up. Right,
sure. Yeah, I found from playing Druid, I was trying to prep for the tournament last night, and I was playing a lot of Druid, and I found actually I was winning quite a lot versus Hunters. I found it to be one of the easier matchups. Traditionally, I do agree that the mid-range was actually one of the best counters to Druid, but I wonder if the Aspirant is just that strong. It's turning the tide a bit on that.
I mean, it's a pretty big, it's a 2/3 that counters a Hunter's turn 1 and 2, no problem, and also gives you another. I mean, it's an insanely good card. As Steve
incredible.
said, if it was a Shaman card, it would be Overload 4.
Overload 4, yes.
Yeah, I was talking to Slimster a bit about it today, and we were comparing it to Cut Purse, and the fact that they got that and we got Cut Purse, Rogue players got Cut Purse, is just.
Cut Purse isn't a 2/3 surprises me.
It's a 2/2 that does almost exactly what Aspirant does if it hits face on your turn. It's just like...
Sure, and if Aspirant is removed. So if Aspirant is removed cleanly and Cutpurse is not removed cleanly, they become equal cards.
Well, and their still stats are unequal.
Yeah, that too.
Anyway, ignoring my just enormous amount of...
I think you just need to run a Druid with a bunch of taunts that have Cutpurses behind them, so that then you can safely just farm coins.
Oh, you mean Rogue with a bunch of taunts?
Yeah, sorry, what'd I say?
You said Druid.
Oh.
You and your damn ramp Druid, Dan. Anyway, so we're jumping in here. We've got Imbolc with what seems to be the just dream hand, and we've got Katoda with he's got the 1/2, but it's gonna start to get ugly from there. Luckily, Hunter pretty much only runs up to... we did see the high main, so he's not a full-on face Hunter. But Imbolc here, he can... he has the coin, he's got the he's got the wild growth, he's got the wrath, he's got the hero power. So there's a lot of decisions to be made here, and he elects to remove the shield. And I think this is really good because this kind of plays around Glabezuka, which could buff that. And so it allows Imbolc to interact with the Argent Squire a little better. So now it's turn 2. I expect to see a wild growth here. I think if you don't play turn 2, he just draws he top decks the next one, and that starts to be a little clunky in the hand. But he does have a really good 4/5 drop. And he's going to go with the top deck. I like that strategy. Always show top deck. Try to get a little tilt. And we see an Argent Horse Rider.
Ooh, that's going to mess up.
So that's going to be a problem. That's very good against Druid. Very good against a lot of classes, honestly.
That's a really good card.
Yeah, it's just a really good card. The Animal Companion is just so much better on an uncontested board. And this is just... I mean, even the Leok here, which I would argue is the worst Animal Companion. Actually, no.
No. Leok is the worst animal
Huffer would have
companion
been the
when it's
worst
alone.
there.
Yeah, Huffer would have been the worst, absolutely. Leok here, though, is going to add 2 damage immediately to the board and a 2/4 body, and the 2 damage will be recurring until Leok's removed or silenced. So, certainly going to be a problem. Imbolc is definitely up against a big board. Even with what I would say is a very good hand, he's definitely is feeling that
It's
early
just too
board
slow.
pressure. Yeah, I mean the this just 1, 2, 3 from the hunter is gonna be. Oh, and the second animal companion here, that is brutal. If he gets the second Leok, that would be just insane. It would just be awful. Leok and Misha would be very, very bad for Imbolc. Very good for Katoda. Alternatively, he could use the Argent Horse Rider. That's 3 attack.
Huffer would also just give him 5 attack right out of the bat, or off the bat.
Right, he could go just full face with it. I guess, yeah. I guess he's probably not looking at trading too much. He's just so far ahead. I mean, just on board right now, he has 7 damage and can put.
If he plays if he gets a hover, he'll have him down to 11.
Yeah, that's
on turn 4
with another which with all direct damage,
right,
mana spells and minions in hand. That's pretty hard to argue with. I really like the animal companion.
Right before we got started, we were just saying that the druid, the one thing it really can't do is come back from losing a lot of health.
Right, and honestly, what's made this matchup so much better for the druid is the aspirant, which Imbolc noticeably is, it's conspicuously absent. So
very control-oriented play there.
Yeah, Katoda with a charge minion, I kind of would expect a little bit different. This is not weak to swipe. This is kind of weak to a second. I guess it's better though against a second keeper. Yeah, this is okay. Going into Druid of the Claw turn, this is gonna have a clean kill. He can also use the quick shot, but he could quick shot and animal companion.
Yeah, I think that was actually a really heads up play because it denies the druid really well. If he had gotten a Huffer or a Misha, nothing would have cleanly traded, and he would have had to run 2 minions into it.
Yeah, well played. Katoda is definitely one of the best players in the league, as evidenced in the All-Star League. He also, his team Synergy made it to the finals, so he is going to go with the animal companion. This seems like a snap play. Fits really well on the mana curve, and that's okay. I think you have to quick shot here, though. I think you're going to push so much damage this turn. I would be a fan of quick shotting and running the scientist in.
That's what you play around swipe really well.
It's really ugly to swipe, although that's pretty easily cleared by Force of Nature, which we see Imbolc has 2 of. Not cleared.
Well, if you leave if you have the Divine Shield is huge.
Yeah, the Divine Shield is huge, but it would just leave Katoda with a 2/1 on board. Let's look at the damage outputs here. If he elects to knock off the Divine Shield and trade this in without using the quick shot, and it looks like he's gonna do that. Hero Power and Argent Squire.
9.
Yeah, 9 damage with a quick shot. Oh, he can't Argent Squire. I'm sorry. Is pretty devastating. Katoda can full clear here with the Force of Nature, and I have very little doubt that's what he'll do. He could Wrath and then top deck swipe, but no, he's gonna go.
No, this is really on his heels here, though. There's not a whole lot.
And with the Hunter hero power, it's really just delaying the inevitable at this point.
Exactly. And next turn, could he get 1 lore down to heal for 5? And that's not going to change anything.
Well, that's a kind of a bad top deck, actually, because the math's just kind of awkward. He can put him to 7. You can hero power him down to. So I wonder if he will quick shot here, though. I would
I wouldn't think so.
You don't think so? Okay.
I mean, where's
because kill command quick shot hero power next turn is 8 damage on its own, and Druid hero power puts him at 8. So he has lethal even if the Squire is cleared and there's no healing, and you can't heal and clear the Squire. So. Right.
Yeah. No. This is game. There's pretty much nothing Imbolc can do, and I think Imbolc's pretty aware of that. At this point, and there's really nothing. There's not a lot of text to hide.
Yeah, there's nothing surprising in there.
Yeah, to hide, where, any Druid text. So if you're Imbolc here, you play your best shot at winning. Which is probably,
Dr. Boom.
Probably.
yeah,
Well,
probably.
or Wrath and hit it, because then he won't be able to do Hounds to get the extra damage.
Yeah, Wrath's pretty nice here because it gives him a chance to draw Innervate and potentially set up some weird Innervate Savage Roar top deck thing, but
No.
it's not gonna matter. Yeah, we're gonna just see a quick game 2 here as Igor is able to quick shot, kill command, hero power. Man, I can't believe quick shot was made. Like face. Anyway, all right. Anyway,
I agree.
Anyway, yeah.
I mean,
Meanwhile, classes like Shaman over here have no access to a 2-mana 3-damage spell. But we might as well give one to Hunter.
Withdraw. And they added Dark Bomb. It was just like, wait, what?
What?
Anyway, that's Katoda.
It's a quick 2-0.
Honestly, I think both players played that absolutely perfectly. I don't think there was a single misplay. Imbolc just didn't have the answers, and Katoda had absolutely the perfect curve, except for one turn. So, quick 2-0. The commander is jumping out, and that's what we've kind of seen tonight. Like, it's just sort of, once you get them on their back feet, that bench roll really forces the losing team to kind of scramble. So Imbolc goes down with his Druid, and now that kind of opens up the door again for Microwave and his aggressive decks. And D Lyman's just sitting there with his 30-minute game decks, just biding his time.
At least there's no warriors coming from the commanders, so there is no chance of a fatigue warrior mirror.
You're welcome, by the way. I made that very quick yesterday. I was like, I want to give them, fireworks. I won't draw execute. It's cool. I had 5 cards out of 13. It's fine. I won't draw them. I'll end this game quickly. Yeah, so no warrior, which is a little surprising, especially since Slimsh is a well-known advocate and control warrior player. So yeah, definitely a little interesting. Yeah, so if you're the Auctioneers, you're trying to stabilize here. You're trying to find a win. You've just lost just lost Imbolc. You could kind of take that risk and send them back out, or you could maybe it's time to send up D Lyman. Haven't gotten the job done with Microwave or.
Well, that's
number 1
the
overall pick. Send him in there to get a win. I'm in favor of that.
Yes, number 1 overall pick. So
after 3 matches,
just get him out there. After just 3 matches, yeah. It's that it's that sultry voice. How do you
Oh, and he's got that little element of unknown to him, and he wins convincingly.
He's a mysterious challenger,
That's exactly right. And who is he? He's none of your damn business.
Yeah, he's just sitting there. He's got a lot of secrets, a lot of gold decks.
He just wins a lot, and then somehow ends up on the defending champs who did not have any room under the PR cap. But we won't talk about that.
Take it up a little bit. We can't hear you there. Are you back yet? Okay, it must have been the flood. Okay.
he's only an English teacher, all right? Math is pretty hard.
Oh, that's
It's hard
true.
to explain. It's complicated. There's numbers.
Yeah. So yeah, waiting on the teams to decide their classes here. It looks like the Auctioneers about to announce their class. It will be Microwave going back out there with Hunter. So Microwave is gonna go back out for it. Yeah, this should be. We know he's playing a very aggressive kind of hybrid Hunter. What do you
It
think?
wasn't that aggressive, but we also didn't see any shredders. We didn't see any normal mid-range cards. But that freezing trap and the misdirection seem really out of place to me. If there is no mid-range.
I think we saw a high main.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. All right, and we're gonna be seeing Nick or Clark Kent on Druid. So we're gonna see the exact Same series we just watched, but we're going to be seeing it from the different teams bringing it.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say that doesn't bode well for Clark Kent, but he always seems to win too.
Yeah, he was able to pull out the Druid versus Hunter game against Katota actually in the championship. So maybe he's gonna try to put up, and they're already in. So let's jump into this game. Yeah, so this hybrid Hunter, I mean, as we saw, Hunter seems just to be favored unless that aspirant, and Clark Kent just a little more skilled, than Imbolc, and getting that in his opening hand.
Attaboy.
That takes being on Team Archon Storm to get that. Microwave though has a 1-drop and nothing else. That's pretty rough. If you're Clark here, do you keep the Shredder, Cassidy?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Keep the Shredder. You keep the Shade even.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I would have because you're on the but we see he is an aggro druid.
Love it.
Aggro druid. All right, so that's a little bit of a shakeup. Not just your boring druid deck. He's got quite a good curve too. Even if the Darnassus dies here.
He's got Knife Juggler. Yep.
Yeah, he's got the Juggler into 3 drops, so this is going to work out pretty well. If the Darnassus doesn't die here...
Oh, no. Does Microwave know what he's doing? That's a wild growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a guaranteed wild growth. And
I guess if you're just going for the aggression, but
Ooh.
That's like the equivalent of silencing a Darnassus Aspirant, which happened to me quite a few times on day 1 of TGT, but people seem to have kind of
figured it out.
You were playing Face Hunter on day 1 of TGT. Don't even.
He is a legend, sir.
Sir. So Clark Kent will pull what we like to call a Clark Kent, and
classic. Take his
hang out on the rope
time.
And just
for a whole
sit
turn
around for about 75 seconds before touching any of his cards.
Considering what he might do with that Druid of the Claw.
Yeah.
The next 5 minutes.
Yep. And I think the play here is, I guess you play on curve, right?
Yeah. You had to test the trap, because if it was Snake Trap, there was a different line of play you'd have to take. But he gets his thing frozen, he's going to play Shade, because it's on curve. Yep.
And that's just got to be so aggravating for Microwave. He's sitting here just like, let me...
And he's like, let's go, pedal to the metal, hit face.
Yep.
Do it.
And this double juggler, or I guess, no, yeah, we'll probably see double juggler here, right? Living Roots, wow, so juggler into Living Roots here.
It's a nuts play.
Is pretty good. That being said, though, it is going to leave the door open a little bit for that Unleash. I can't really blame Clark for this, though, and he's going to go with that, and, ooh, one to the face is bad. Okay, so
does not hit the main target.
But he hits, yeah, leaving up the 3-1 is definitely the worst. And he's going to trade into it. So, yeah, Microwave here on 4 mana. The Unleash is...
What if we see a Fell Reaver misdirected?
That's the dream. I mean, that's just the dream, right? And it could potentially happen with this Unleash. Microwave can clear here and even have 1 Hound left. And that's going to leave Clark Kent with just the Fell. Honestly, this could absolutely happen if Microwave does clear. Microwave, though, tends to not clear from what we saw against Slimsh. Maybe he'll have... Yes, he's learned his lesson and he's here. And going into turn 5, that could be a misdirected Fell Reaver, folks. I don't know if Clark will play a Fell Reaver. I actually think he probably will put the brakes on.
I would think you'd want to hold off.
Yeah, it still...
Oh, yeah. If it's green, you play it.
Well, that's our resident Smork expert.
Yep, here he comes.
Here he comes, and now Microwave about to make...
He's about to make dreams come true.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so Clark is going to probably expect this to be another freezing. let's just go over
He kills off the dog.
Well, that
Well,
guarantees
that's guaranteed face. And if
face.
Clark is
Oh.
smart here, he should read that as a misdirect. Honestly,
Yes.
I guess you just do it, and that's basically stopping the. This is insane.
Luckily, there's no, or unluckily for Clark, he has no charge minion, so he can't test
not
the
true.
trap with. Oh no, he has Druid of the Claw.
Yeah.
But
So,
I think that's the only play.
I disagree. I think you just drop the juggler and the powder shredder and stop.
Where shall I strike?
Oh my gosh.
So he's gonna swing. Dang it. We did
That's
not see the.
He was paying attention. He was paying attention last time.
Oh, and he's gonna take 4 to the dome!
Well, at least it stays alive.
That's
He's got 12 on board.
absolutely brutal. But does he have next turn lethal?
He does not. He's one short.
Yeah.
Now he does. Nope. Oh,
No,
wait,
no,
never
those
mind.
are the
Those aren't drawing. Those are burning.
Those are milled. And just to go over the milled.
No, he has lethal. He's got overkill.
He's got 12.
6
Yeah, Savage
Oh,
Roar
yeah, he's
is
fine. He's
easily
totally fine.
lethal.
Yeah,
It's easy lethal. Okay. So I was about to go over the milled cards, but it doesn't matter. Really exciting game. We saw Fell Reaver, we saw Misdirection, and Microwave is just not going to be able to get it done with the Hunter. And Clark able to take it out, pull it out, no BM, and that's got to feel really bad. I actually know that feeling quite well when you're down 0-3. So now Microwave is down. D Lyman's got to be itching to pull the trigger. And the Commanders have a win with Clark, Kotota, and Mark. So they're really spreading out the wins, which works really well. So
This is really similar to what we saw last night.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, it makes it really hard to target lineups when everyone has a win. Again, a feeling I know well. So, yeah, if you're the Auctioneers here, you can't send back out Microwave. His aggressive deck's just not getting it done. If you're, you've got super control decks in D Lineman and probably Freeze Mage and Druid from the Auctioneers. So, what do you do? Where do you start to rebuild as the Auctioneers here? What do you guys think?
You find your best deck that you feel most comfortable with getting a win, and you just toss it out there.
I think he just put D Lyman out there with either of his decks.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think the aggro decks just haven't been getting it done, and it's time to send.
Time to stabilize a little bit.
Yeah. I think you need to start with a win, and alternatively, you could try to go for like a shock, and maybe this is the time to throw out Microwave again with Paladin or Hunter. What does the Commanders even have? They've got Mage from Slimsh. They've got Warlock from Clark Kent, and they've got Priest from Kotota. So really probably very controlled decks. Very controlling decks. The Paladin would be favored against the Priest, presumably. Unless it is a control. Yeah, that's not totally clear. It looks like the Auctioneers are already ready to announce. It's tough. I agree with you guys. I think you send out D Lyman, and that's what they will do. They'll send out D Lyman on Warrior.
There we go.
And that's something you can get behind, you know? It's time to
And if he loses, then at least it'll feel close because it's gonna.
It's time to
take 20
give LeBron
minutes.
the ball and get out of the way.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I also think Warrior's pretty good here because the Commanders have a lot of really, really control decks.
Mm-hmm.
If, Slimsh opened and they've kind of gone Slimsh, Kotota, Clark, so potentially they'll just say, oh, it's time to send Slimsh back in with Freeze, and that'll get handled real easily.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's their line of thought.
Yeah, I mean, well, they did see Microwave go down with those very aggressive decks, so maybe they want Slimsh to go in with Freeze against... Oh, and they are going to send in Slimsh with Freeze, so this could be a very, very easy game.
If you're at home, take a nap. I'll wake you up when it's over.
Right?
That being said, Slimsh could be on tempo decks. I mean, Slimsh is extremely current with the meta. He constantly is on competitive Hearthstone, and he's definitely following, the BlizzCon qualifiers and whatnot. So he's got his finger on the pulse. He may be bringing a tempo mage. We'll have to see. So it looks like they are starting. So we will jump right in, and right off the bat, we see Slimsh with with freeze. Yeah, so it was as we expected.
Oh jeez.
And are you guys able to spectate D-Lyman?
No.
I am not.
Okay, I think he has it turned off.
No, I just turned it on.
Okay, excellent. I'm sure that was one of the 6 people trying to spectate him.
Right.
So we see D-Lyman with
Death Lord. Oh, so it's going to be an
Warrior.
actual fatigue warrior. Rest in
Yeah.
peace, Slimsh.
Yeah, and this is right here is the worst line. Like, this is actually the worst matchup in the game. Like, there's no matchup worse than this.
This is like 95%.
I would say 90. I don't even know. I'm like 100.
Like there must be some situation where the mage wins, but I can't think of one.
Well, Slimsh has the god hand of Freeze Mage. So if it can happen, Slimsh will get it done. What's really funny is, so Fatigue Warrior, well known, for just being insanely controlling, enormous amounts of armor, just everything Freeze Mage hates. But what's really funny here is that the Death Lord could absolutely break or make the Freeze Mage. Because
if it pulls out Alex, then it's
immediately game. If it pulls out, Alex or maybe a Doomsayer, that's just so devastating. However, an ET or potentially an Antonitis in the correct situation could turn this game around for Slimsh.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see here. I think Slimsh's hand, though, is just incredible. This is really, really, really strong hand from Slimsh. D-Lyman is going to start the process of slowly but surely basically destroying Slimsh's soul.
I don't think there's any need to put out the
Death Lord? Well,
No,
if
not at all.
you're D-Lyman here, you probably think it's Freeze Mage, but it could be Tempo. In both cases, I'd be really okay with Death Lord. You don't know which deck it is yet. So this is a situation where, if Slimsh was able to get this Death Lord, this Doomsayer off, and Antonitis came off, he could just win this game in 3 turns.
right.
Bouncing Blade. Which
There is
really
the Bouncing Blades, right?
Perhaps.
But he does this incorrect. That's a good sequencing. Always pop to hopefully not draw secrets. Wow, we see double revenge from D-Lyman here, and he's gonna attack in. And maybe not really sure if it's going to be a Freeze Mage yet. Oh no, he saw the Arcane Intellects. Probably Freeze.
Right on turn 3.
But maybe Tempo.
Maybe Tempo, yeah.
Tempo
Until you
is-
see that Loot Hoarder, I don't think you really know for sure. Or
Right.
a Doomsayer.
Right, absolutely. And D-Lyman, if you notice there, he armored up instead of playing the armor block just to make sure he's armoring up every single turn. Something that probably won't end up mattering in the end, but definitely
Well, and Shield Block puts him farther ahead in the fatigue race, which is what he doesn't want to be. So, I'd be surprised if we see Shield Block get played at all in this game.
Oh, I actually completely disagree. I think he'll play it next turn. My point was he's probably just making sure that he's basically playing every turn with 2 less mana. I think he's just hero powering every single turn instead of playing a 3 shield block and curve. So I would expect him right here to hero power and shield block. Or
I see what you're
He
saying.
is going to Shield Block, okay.
I see what you're saying about the shield block, but at the same time, in a Fatigue Warrior, you wouldn't bring it in the first place if you weren't prepared to use it.
Right, and
I just don't think you need to use it in this matchup. But he's going to be behind the fatigue draw anyway, because there's so much cycle, and Slimsh has already played Arcane Intellect, so he knows he's still behind.
To speak to that as an archetype in general, as someone who really enjoys the Fatigue Warrior, and what Dan said is right, spot on. Basically, Fatigue Warrior doesn't win like any other Fatigue deck. There's no other deck that's like it that is a Fatigue deck, because it really doesn't care that much about draw. It doesn't want to be ahead, but the Doom, it basically it just wins by sheer amount of armor. You both go to fatigue at relatively same point, and it just has like 70 health and wins. So it's an interesting deck in that regard, and it's nothing like any other fatigue deck. Really quick, that's an Illuminator. And it's
I want to point that out to the world.
Yeah, that's really, really cool, and that goes to my point that Slimsh is very much on top of the meta. That deck, there's an Illuminator Mage on competitive Hearthstone Reddit, and it was like either today or yesterday, and I wonder if Slimsh is like just made that change based on that deck list. Illuminator Mage, I think it was yesterday on competitive Hearthstone. So
well, they already had to submit these lists some time ago, didn't
oh,
they?
that's an excellent point. So maybe I don't know. Maybe he's
ahead of the game on that.
Yeah, and that's just very much on top of it. And that Illuminator is just so good against like a Paladin or so. So interesting tech there. He probably doesn't have a heal bot if he has an Illuminator in this deck.
I would assume not.
Yeah, it seems like a little much. All right, well the Doomsayer, the Deathlord, sorry, is getting close to dying. And Slimsh is just gonna try to start taking off some of this armor. That's interesting. That's actually very interesting. So D Lyman here could Bouncing Blades or double Revenge, actually single Revenge and use his weapon, kill off his thing, and then have whatever comes out of it get Doomsayered. I think that's a bit of a misplay from Slimsh.
I agree.
In fact, if I'm D Lyman here, I think he's probably a little puzzled by that play. I would probably just hit face and Revenge once. And now, any chance of Antonidas becoming a threat
There's no more.
Is no more. Antonidas, anything, the 8/8. And
truly anything, even Acolyte.
Yep.
It's
And
dead.
now D Lyman is going to do this, and this is really going to punish Slimsh. And
Alex Straza.
Yep, and there goes, and I mean that's an 8/8 is something that a Fatigue Warrior usually can deal with very easily, so it's not like a huge threat of the body, but yeah, obviously
The battle cry
is built around it. Yeah,
Yikes.
exactly, the battle cry, and that I think that was just a huge punish, and D Lyman of course saw it and acted upon it. Slimsh now has got to be feeling really bad, because he has to deal with armor and an extra 15 health.
Perhaps.
Freeze Mage at some point has finite damage, and I could give you a rough number, but spell damage and stuff basically affects that. And so he will really be relying on his Antonidas to kill D Lyman. And to get that done, he will need a huge ET turn. And D Lyman generally will just be able to kill.
That's two cards that he doesn't even have yet. Yeah.
With this Bouncing Blade. But yeah, he has so much removal that those
There's one.
And I want to point out that Slimsh has either on purpose, and I would say it's definitely on purpose, knowing Slimsh, has held onto the coin, and that's pretty much just to deal with, to get more value from Antonidas. Right now, D Lyman is going to astutely overdraw Slimsh. And that's going to be really painful. This is going to be a double card mill right here. And Frost Nova is not at all lost. Doomsayer also not the biggest loss. So Slimsh,
pretty unscathed.
Very luckily. I mean, if he lost ET there, I mean, you're just feeling terrible. He has almost all the burn, and there's no reason to wait for Alex at this point. I think what he really just wants to start doing, just start pounding. Try to hero power every turn, remove the armor. That's double fireball gone from Slimsh. So it's all up to Antonidas at this point. And we're going to see what is going to be a second Ice Barrier. So Slimsh now with the Ice Block and Ice Barrier. And I think D Lyman can just sort of like slowly but surely start applying pressure. He's got these weapons. He's got some very high quality minions like the Sludge Belcher. And while he has very little hand, it's a very powerful hand for removal. He has a Shield Slam and 2 Bouncing Blades. Very interesting he's playing double Bouncing Blades in a very heavy Paladin meta. I guess he made a read that this is definitely a tournament deck. This is probably not at all viable on ladder. But, those Bouncing Blades can make the Interesting.
And Bouncing Blades pairs really well with other removal, as well as Brawl, because you can use your cheap spells and your weapons to clear off small threats, and then set up a Bouncing Blades to hit just one big minion.
Right. Okay, so
What do you think of that play, John?
I'm very surprised. If Slimsh had waited one more turn, he would have gotten the second Ice Lance off. In addition to that, Slimsh could have gone face for another 4 damage, and he has a considerable amount of damage, and D. Lyman has very little armor. Very surprised by that play, and a little... I was about to say, like, if he goes to face... If he had waited one more turn, he could have actually done... let's see here, 11 damage to the face, and created 4 fireballs.
4 fireballs.
Instead of doing 7, no, only 3 damage to the face, and creating 3 fireballs. In a game without Alex Straza, and you have finite damage, and he's basically your only chance of winning, Anto. Also, you have 6 cards left, and you're not feeling much pressure. I personally would have waited for ET and just gotten... I would have gone for almost... I'd probably try to go for like maybe 5 fireballs. But
Is there any way for him to win the game at this point?
Well, without Justicar down, let's count his damage. He's got 18, 28, 20, 35 plus pings. 35 plus pings, so yeah, there theoretically is. But he's going to be really on the clock.
Yeah, because he's just so close to fatigue already.
Well, no, but what's interesting here is actually D. Lyman, we'll see a Pyroblast come down. D. Lyman will be at 12. And then the next turn, D. Lyman will be up to 14. And then we'll see Fireball, Frostbolt, Ice Lance, which is 13, plus King, which is 14. If Slimsh does this play right now, I think he could win. 9 plus, that's 13 plus 14. If he does this play right now and D. Lyman doesn't draw just a car, shield block, armor smith. Oh, and that's game.
Speak to me.
Okay. Well, that was game. Honestly, he could have just, like, knowing both hands, Slimsh could have actually won. That's incredible if he had Pyroblast right there. But now he won't be able to do it, and basically he's losing by 1 damage each turn. So long as this game goes, he clearly is going to become less favored, and you needed to Pyroblast right there. This is like a huge miss. I honestly, like, that was just a... That actually was the game decider, because he has no more damage in his deck unless he's playing double Pyroblast, which is not at all a thing. So, yeah, basically, the other thing is there might be a Malagos in this deck. And if that's the case, then Slimsh is playing this perfectly. However, I don't think that's the case. And it doesn't matter anymore, because without any more damage, his pinging the face is ruining all that math I did, also picking up that Shield Maiden. So the game's completely over unless there's a Malagos. In which case, I think Slimsh could still be in it. But Malagos is
not really, because in 1 turn, he'd only be able to do 1 Frostbolt and an Ice Lance, which would be an extra 10 damage on top of 7.
Right, I wish he had kind of counted there. If D-Line, yeah, he actually would have won this turn, or last turn rather. Just as speaking about Malagos is kind of almost mocked by very hardcore Freeze Mage players, and it's kind of like so I'd be very surprised if Slimsh brings it.
I've never even heard of it, so I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that newer Freeze Mage players are like, wow, Malagos is spell damage, and we use spells. But really, Freeze Mage is one of the most regimented scheduled classes where you're on a very strict schedule, and Malagos is a 9 mana minion, so it's not very good. As I see it, Slimsh, he has 2 more cards in his deck. We've only seen 1 Blizzard, I think, or maybe 2. I don't know. I lost track, so I don't know what else I hope, for the sake of him. Oh, and that's oh my.
Yeah, that's over now.
I don't know. I don't think Malagos can even save him.
I don't think Malagos even could have saved him.
Yeah, I don't know if it could have.
Out of cards.
15
Yikes.
Plus-
That's not what you want to see.
9 plus 8. 8 plus 9. 17 plus 15. Yeah, Malagos would have done it.
Yeah.
Would have saved him.
And
And
you
now
blocked it.
he's just trying to stop the board. He has 1 card left. Pinging the 5/1 it doesn't matter. We could chalk it up to this is the hardest matchup in the game, but honestly, Slim's played it. He made the misplay with the Doomsayer. I think he kept himself in it to an extent, and D-Lyman drew extremely dead. So now Slim's just out of damage. That is a second Blizzard.
Well played.
And he's done. If he had counted up at that 1 turn, I think he actually would have won the game knowing what D-Lyman drew. D-Lyman drew atrociously.
He had an incredible amount of crowd control
Right.
in that deck.
Well, I mean, the deck isn't built to beat Freeze Mage, but at the same time, it should,
It just beats it. Yeah.
Right, it's just, but he didn't draw any of his Justicar, he only had the 1 armor gain. He didn't draw any armor smiths, assuming he plays them, which he might not. And he didn't draw any of his shield maidens, which he certainly plays. So anyway,
So that's a 3-1 now.
we see, yes, D-Lyman able to get the win, and that's huge because that tells the auctioneers that Slim is indeed on Freeze Mage, and they saw ostensibly every single card, and knowing that there is a an Illuminator is actually very illuminating.
Ha!
Thank you. And and that can by deduction, you can figure out that there's no heal bot. So if I'm that actually has a lot of impact on how you play against a Freeze Mage, knowing there's no heal bot and that there is an Illuminator. So so some valuable information learned by the Auctioneers. About 20 minutes of your life lost, but yeah. They're on the board, 3-1. Or 1-3, sorry. The Auctioneers are on the board. And that's Warrior out of the way. And Warrior, honestly, was looking at a lot of tough matchups there. The Hunter is... Oh, the Hunter's out of the way. He had There's Priest.
It looked pretty well prepared to deal with the Dragon Priest.
Right, it did look well prepared. Control Priest is generally unfavored because they go to Fatigue, and then Priest looks at its health total and it's 30, and Control it looks at its health total and it's 70. The Handlock, it looked very, very teched against Handlock, and then the Mage. So, yeah, he was going into, potentially some iffy matchups. The Dragon Priest can be difficult for Fatigue Warrior. Regardless, D-Lyman was able to take the win, and now it's almost guaranteed they won't be going against Freeze Mage, so the Auctioneers might be looking back towards Microwave and his Paladin. I think the Paladin here... the Paladin has very good matchups against Warlock and Priest, so I would definitely probably bring out the Paladin or the Hunter.
Well, if you're the Commanders right now and you're on your back foot like they are, I don't think you need to be worried so much about benching at this point.
I agree. I completely agree. Absolutely, and that's very much due to how they sequence their players, with each of them taking a win. Well, Imbolc will be going to Mage, and that is interesting. We haven't seen Imbolc play. He is definitely a proficient Freeze Mage player, and I think he said it's his favorite deck and class. So, so we should. I would expect to see that. It'll be interesting to see what the Commanders bring. The Freeze Mage is very favored versus Priest, and that is what the Commanders are going to bring. So it's going to be Katoda on Priest and the Freeze Mage. And this is really
Extremely favored for the Freeze Mage, right?
Extremely favored for the Freeze Mage. Very heads up by the Auctioneers. They basically are saying, well, we don't want... this is... I guess they would think the Priest is going to go out. Assuming Microwave is going back out. Both of Microwave's decks are kind of weak to Freeze Mage. So I think the Auctioneers won that mind games right there. as they were able to get that freeze mage, the favorable matchup. Hamlock is I would say slightly unfavored against freeze mage, but anyone who is familiar with freeze mage would do well. Clark Kent is not, so I think Hamlock would be very unfavored against the freeze mage as well. So a good time to send out the freeze mage. Inbulk's trying to get his team back on track here, and they have started, so we will jump right into that game. I'm very excited to see this priest. I believe it is a control priest.
He's got Circle of Healing, so yeah.
So this is a control priest, and this is my favorite deck in the game. I actually like this somehow more than freeze mage, which I adore. This will be interesting. I believe Katoda is a freeze mage player. We saw him play freeze mage in the semifinals of season Kappa, so he should be pretty familiar with how to play against freeze mage. Very unfavored for the priest. That being said, the priest has some lines of winning here. Can you guys see, is Inbulk's hand?
It's good.
Okay.
He's got a Loot Hoarder and an Arcane Intellect so far.
I see an Ice Barrier.
Okay, so I must be bugged as well.
Yeah, I'm going to have to leave. Okay, but basically the way the freeze mage is going to want to, or the priest is going to want to do this is they're going to put a ton of pressure, as everyone does, on a freeze mage. But more so than that, you kind of just sit on all the healing. And they do have a chance, like a control priest is much more favored, I would say, than dragon priest, because they have so many more. They run the light of the Naru, the light of the Narus, and they run some run like Holy Fire. They generally run like, potentially 2 copies of Holy Nova. So they have a lot of healing they can get. In addition, the biggest one is Justicar. Justicar is run in almost every control priest. In fact, I would say every control priest. And is going to give them an instant 4 health off of an Alexstrasza. So we see Katoda sending out the Zombie Child. This is just in an effort to apply pressure. Obviously, Zombie Chows are not very used to this role. So it'll be neat to play. He does have the Valence, and he's definitely trying to cycle that Power Word Shield. Katoda, they don't know that Inbulk is a freeze mage player. They didn't know that. So they do now. Sorry, I just was thinking, yeah, that is also a really good play against Tempo Mage. So I like this a lot. Send out the Pyromancer. Basically just fill the board up and just try to apply a lot of pressure. Hope he doesn't get his AoEs. And there's a couple. The new card, the Holy Champion?
Yes.
That card is actually extremely good against a freeze mage. I haven't actually seen this matchup too much since TGT has come out, but that card has the potential to burst out of nowhere, with its healing effects. So Circle of Healing is actually pretty nice with a Wild Pyromancer for that combo. It is, yeah. So we'll have to see what happens here. The Pyromancer is a bit of a liability. There's the Justicar. That's huge. So Katoda is going to march ahead here, and yeah, instead of playing the Valens, which I think is a little interesting, I was a little surprised he didn't want to.
Also, he put the shield on the Chow instead of.
Right, it looks like he wants this Chow to not ever die.
Right.
Okay. So I'd be shocked if Katoda uses this Light of the Naru ever. Wow.
Wow.
Very strong pickup. I'd be very surprised if Katoda uses this Light of the Naru at all prior to Alexstrasza. Just throwing that out there. That Northshire Clark is an incredibly strong draw. Not this turn, but next. I think the clear play here is Valencing the Wild Pyromancer and running either or into the Mad Scientist. You won't be able to heal this turn. And that should be fine because you're going into turn 5, which is Doomsayer turn.
Well, if he runs the Chow in...
Wow.
I don't think he needs to do... If he runs the Chow in and then plays the Cleric and then Light of the Naru on the Chow, he would have gotten all the value out of all of it.
So he gives up the Wild Pyromancer, and I guess he's doing that just because it's injuring his side of the board.
A lot more so than
I
the
go
other
stout.
side.
I'll have to come back. Yeah, but
I feel like you can get a lot of value out of it with the cleric, though.
well, you can get a lot out of it with the cleric. In addition to that, what I mentioned earlier, and this is something that Colento has made very, Colento and Zedalot, they have made really you can pull off enormous damage burst with the Holy Champion with a Pyro up. You basically
Right.
have a Holy Champion down, a Circle of Healing, and do any spell, and then Circle of Healing, and you'll get, 5 or 6 things healed depending on your board state. And now he's lost that. So this looks very much anti-aggro. A lot of these cards are not. They're very much flexi cards in the list. Death Lords are not in every control priest. In fact, they're not in a lot of control priests. And there's the Injured Blade Master. Additionally, the Zombie Chow is also another card that is not run in every control priest. So this is very anti-aggressive. Can he make Imbolc Overdraw here? 2, 4,
No.
6, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so if that's another situation where the Wild Pyromancer would have given him an overdraw.
Yeah.
There's Doomsayer.
There's the Doomsayer. Now it's turn 6. Imbolc has just tons of removal. He has, board clears. He's got the Doomsayer. He's got the double Frost Nova. He's got Blizzard and Flame Strike. I mean, this is just take your pick. And the Priest got Imbolc to 21, which is just not doing much. Additionally, there's the Zombie Chow out there, which will put him back up to 26. This is definitely pretty rough spot to be for Katoda. The Injured Blade Master is one of the best cards versus Freeze Mage. It's like just super hard to remove with burn or even AoEs. So it's unfortunate that Katoda didn't draw it earlier. All right, so it's turn 6. Your board's frozen. I think it's just time to drop the Justicar.
Mm-hmm.
He could go for more draw.
It's too bad, yeah, because you forfeit
the draw.
essentially
Yeah,
another
so
draw.
I totally would see that merit. You could consider playing the Death Lord. The Death Lord is actually one way you could maybe even win if you can get an Alex off of it. If you can pull a D Lyman,
Mm-hmm.
it is without a death in the hand. It's pretty risky because how do you deal with that Alexstrasza A and
We have Light Bomb.
Oh, you do have Light Bomb. But I guess then the way more worrisome one would be Antonitis without a death in hand. So, yeah. So I actually like the Death Lord here a lot, I have to say. Wild Pyromancer is not... he really doesn't...
I'm not sure what it plays to. Like what that gets you any closer to being able to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's just... This is just looking a little rough at this point. I would have liked to see the Death Lord down there. Obviously, I can see Imbolc's hand, and I can see that he doesn't have Alex in his hand. But this is such an unfavored matchup. I think you have to take that risk. You've seen a lot of the little guys. You've seen, like, the Loot Hoarders. Or Loot Hoarder, you've seen, I think, 2 Mad Scientists. Or 1.
I think just one. I think you've seen 2 load hoarders, though.
Okay, 2 Loot Hoarders, a Mad Scientist, and an Acolyte. So you've seen almost all of the early game. So they're basically what's left are the bigger guys, and those guys are guys that Imbolc basically wants to play at opportune moments. So if you can force him out of that, like D. Lyman did to Slim, it's very game winning, and I think it's got to be one of the lines of play that Katoda should consider here. As it is right now, he's applying next to no pressure, and this is Freeze Mage heaven. You just sit there and you just get the turn
cards.
9. Yeah.
Just wait. Yep.
Katoda seems really kind of okay with this. And I really would love to see the Death Lord come down right now. And please playing the Injured Blade Master would be a mistake. Basically, the time to play that is get your Justicar out and then play it. Also, you know what? I just realized a really good play, assuming you can kill Alex, is 6 healing from Justicar if you don't play it until turn that he gets Alex.
Yeah.
Because you get to hero power twice, which is something Katoda might have already considered, and that's very heads up. I just thought of it, so that's why he's holding on to it, which is awesome. He plays the Death Lord. A big fan of that. I like that Katoda's trying to apply some pressure here. We see tons of board clears. So after Imbolc saw what happened to Slimsh's Alexstrasza, that Death Lord's got to look a little scary. He draws the second Doomsayer, so really he just has ET, Antonidas, Alexstrasza, potentially a heal bot, and another Acolyte. So this is huge. This is really huge. If he gets Antonidas off of this, Katoda has no response to it. He has no Auctioneers. He has no response to an Antonidas, and that is terrifying. Light Bomb wouldn't work. And so, wow,
Nice.
Katoda's going to steal it, and that's going to give him a little more power over what to do with what comes out of it. And he's really hoping it's Alexstrasza or ET, both of which would be devastating to Imbolc.
Yep.
ET less so. He's so favored already. He doesn't necessarily need him. But Alexstrasza actually is very difficult for a priest to go into the priest. You know, if you don't have...
So as Imbolc, is it worth the Thalnos Fireball? Is it worth that burn?
Well, if you're Imbolc here, you've got to start considering... I think Imbolc wants this board to die because he played the Doomsayer.
Yeah.
So I think he's okay with this, but it's... I mean, I don't know. He wants it to die in his terms, and he can't play his own Doomsayer here, obviously. So Imbolc's definitely feeling a little uncomfortable here. I also like this play from Katoda because it is turn 9, so assuming Imbolc had Alexstrasza in hand, it would kill the Alexstrasza if Imbolc were to play it here, and that would give Katoda the entire turn to do the Justicar. So huge turn right here. What comes out?
Mad scientist.
Oh, as
And he drew the death.
calls the death. So that is devastating. Excellent play from Katoda. I liked his last 2 turns a lot. A lot. Really liked what he did there. Did not pay off, unfortunately. I think he dropped the Ysera. Yeah.
Yeah.
He picked up the death, which is huge. That's an enormous pickup. You don't really care if this mad scientist. You get to decide when you want to pop his secrets, so it doesn't really matter. That being said, if he gets Ysera, or I'm sorry, if he gets Alexstrasza, that's 2 extra damage, which is very relevant. So he is going to remove it. That's okay. Getting this guy out. This guy, the Injured Blade Master, is a really strong card, as I said before.
Is he worth fireballing?
Probably not. But I wouldn't really... It definitely isn't, I would say. But
Oh, he's gonna flame strike it. Okay.
yeah, the Flame Strike I'm 100% for. He already saw that there was no response to Doomsayer, so you've got that. The Shrinkmeister is interesting. He already used his Cabal, so this...
Unless he has 2.
What comes off this Ysera is huge. It is not... Interesting. Okay, that's interesting. A Dream would have been really good, but now he has a response to Doomsayer with Ysera and Holy Nova. So Ysera Awakens and Holy Nova. So if Imbolc tries to Doomsayer this, he is going to get severely punished. If Imbolc tries to start burning face without waiting for Alex, he's going to get, I would say, severely punished as well, because Katoda is sitting on quite a lot of healing. So if Imbolc really is just got a full hand of spells and none of his important minions, they're in the bottom 8 cards. He's lacking Alexstrasza, Antonidas, and ET, all of whom would have a huge impact. He does have the Blood Mage, so if he's going to elect to just start going to face, he can do it kind of efficiently. Honestly, the Priest, you're at 32 health, effectively. I don't think there's any reason for Imbolc to start burning. The Doomsayer is a noble play. I like this play. It makes sense. It's something to do. And you could potentially get the Ysera, but obviously we see that's not going to work out. Wow, Vol'jin is much better. Vol'jin's an enormous top deck. Vol'jin is actually the best top deck, I would say. Better than even a Pain here. Because it's going to put a 6 damage minion on the board, and it's going to remove that Doomsayer. Enormous pickup from Katoda here. Things are definitely looking in Katoda's way. But, you know, there's only so many turns before Imbolc inevitably draws Alexstrasza and the pressure really starts to be applied.
But I think you nailed it earlier with the Justicar, because he'll get Alex, but then go up to 21.
Right. I mean, that being said, Imbolc, all he really needs for this hand, and this hand is so explosive, 21 health, it looks good, but unless he's really feeling the pressure of like his ice block being popped and he has to manage the board, he will, oh wow.
That's interesting.
So he's saving the Holy Nova for post Alex, yeah, but it's very odd because I think the Justicar play is okay. Wait, Holy Nova, Light of the Naru, Hero Power. Assuming it's a Justicar Hero Power, would be like 7-9 healing, as opposed to 6 from the Justicar double Hero Power. So I guess that's the best response.
But it means you need to get Justicar down next turn.
Yes,
and hope
absolutely.
he doesn't Alex you this turn.
Justicar out next turn. I completely agree. That was a very risky play, but I like that he's putting pressure. It looks like Imbolc's going to go full face here, and this is going to get... I just don't think this is going to work out for Imbolc. Because basically, Alex is going to have very little impact. Wow, that's a lot of damage. Actually...
A lot, though.
It's a lot of damage.
Wow.
Imbolc's play is going to really punish Katoda's previous play very severely, but I think Katoda can heal out of this, actually. With Light of the Naru, Holy Nova,
so he can do the
Hero Power.
He can heal for 7 this turn.
Yeah, he can heal for 7 this turn, and then the turn after that he can heal for 6. So I would heal for 7. He saw the Ice Lance, the double Ice Lance Frostbolts, and a Fireball. He basically saw everything but a Fireball and Pyroblast that a Freeze Mage plays, and another Frostbolt. That's all that's missing in Burn. So the most that the Freeze Mage can apply next turn would be not 10 damage.
He's gonna go Justicar though.
So this is very astute play. This is actually better than the play I suggested, and the reason is because the most a Freeze Mage could ever do is 10 damage after seeing that burst, and now...
oh, wow.
And now he has the Justicar up for more Justicar turns. So he can Justicar next turn with the Holy Nova and the Light of the Naru, which is going to be a total of 9 healing, which is enormous.
Oh, wow.
So, and now he's just going to have every turn from now on will be a Justicar turn. Imbolc drawing the nuts, finally. But...
too late.
It's a little late, and honestly, I think Katoda will be able to heal out of this. He could Pyroblast.
He Pyroblasts him, and then he takes him to 1. He heals up for 9 next turn. He's at 10.
He's at 10, and now...
And then he's going to go up 4 every turn.
Right, and the thing is this. Imbolc will be able to ET into Fireball, but basically Katoda, if he's looked at all of the burn Imbolc's used, Katoda can quantitatively know he's not dead here. And he can potentially pop the block as well. Oh, he definitely can pop the block. So I think Katoda, I'm just so excited. I love Freeze Mage, and there's like 2 decks I like more than Freeze Mage, and one of them is Control Priest. And this is just so expertly maneuvered by Katoda. Very odd seeming plays at some points, and I think the early game was a little dicey with some of the Chow trading, but I think Katoda actually has sealed this game up. I don't want to speak too early, but he should heal up to 9 here.
To 10.
Or to 10. Oh, he could potentially be dead then. To top deck. I did the math wrong.
Yeah, top deck Pyroblast.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Top deck Frostbolt.
Frostbolt, yeah.
Kills him. So it's a 20% chance. And I really, really gotta say, I'm kind of rooting for the priest here. Oh! And there won't be enough for Imbolc to draw into the Frostbolts with the with his Acolyte. So now Imbolc is facing a board that is potentially never going to be removed. Basically, never going to be
Right,
removed.
never. You just have 2
And
turns left.
He's facing 14 health next turn. So a fireball and a ping will not do anything. You have to ET here and then go into an Antonitis turn. Basically, you ET here and then you Antonitis Ice Block next turn.
But
And
then
it won't matter. Imbolc has absolutely lost this game, I think. Unless he's just like some running Malagos, he's lost this game. And this is why, I mean, it was very unlucky for Imbolc to
I also
draw.
don't see how Malagos would help. Because you couldn't get the ice block down the same turn.
E.T. Yeah, Malagos wouldn't help. Okay, unless he's playing Malagos and Prep. Alright, so E.T. Fireball doesn't really matter. The most damage he will do next turn, be able to potentially do is 4. So he right now is just. And so if I'm a Katoda here, you just trade in the 9-2 into the 5-5. It doesn't really matter. Or trade something into it. The 6-3 probably would be better actually. And then you heal up to 8. Oh, he was looking to see if he could get him lower. Yeah, he can't. And that's fine. So you just trade it with one of these minions. I like the 6-3 the most, I think. And then heal face. He has the death. He's got dream. Oh my god!
Nice.
I did not see this play at all. Did not see this play at all. This is one of the coolest plays. Oh god, Katoda is so cool.
Wait, why would? No, it won't go through because he didn't have a starting hero power.
That is really cool.
Oh, bummer.
I didn't know the interaction there.
Replace your starting hero power with... Yeah, alright.
I
was excited. I was with you, John.
Oh, I was so excited.
Cassidy the pro over here. It's been there, done that.
Phase.
I was watching. I was like, wait a minute, that's not gonna work.
Cassidy's basically Crip as a caster. He's just super unfazed and there's all the little kinky card mechanics. And I'm just the idiot admirable, like screaming like a monkey. Okay, so he's gonna create a fireball. He's gonna put him to 7. Top deck Frostbolt doesn't even matter because he can only do at max 10 damage. Katoda will go to 11. So he can just... He honestly doesn't even need to... He shouldn't use the death here either. Oh, he has to use 1 card though. He keeps hovering over the Astera's Awakens and it makes me like...
Really nervous.
Very nervous.
Yeah.
So just run in the 6-4, 6-3, which doesn't do it. Oh, he has to put on Valence or something. Man, and Imbolc has 3 cards left. One is Frostbolts, one is Alexstrasza. Can't say I know the last one. It's probably
Another Blizzard?
we've seen one Blizzard? Yeah, so maybe another Blizzard. And that well played is Katoda's knowing the fact that there's no way for Imbolc to win. Imbolc is 100% dead, even with Alexstrasza on the face here. He's dead to board. He could Arcane Intellect will show, and it won't do anything. And honestly, I have to say, as a Freeze Mage player, he was at 24 health with Ice Barrier up when he pulled the trigger to not wait for Alex. And I think that was I mean, you're just not feeling the pressure. Just hold your horses, control the board, wait for your minions. And
But he had used all of his board control at that point.
yeah, I mean, but you're going up against a priest and you're at effectively 32 health. I still think it was too premature to pull the trigger. And I mean, he made a valiant effort, but the priest, like, this is a control priest and it was able to heal out of it. Granted, Katoda had all the answers and played it 100% perfectly, but I still somewhat disagree with Imbolc's line of play there. Katoto doesn't even need to proc this ice barrier. He can just Sarah Awakens, and he astutely will finally use that card that's made us so nervous, and he's been itching to get out of his hand. I guess he's going to go the safe route with Double Nightmare, and that'll work just as fine. It's also a little flashy. So that is going to be Katoto with the Priest, the only Priest player to come to this tournament, bringing the Priest, beating Freeze Mage, which was Imbolc's one of his most favorite matchups, if not the most favorite matchup. Actually, it was certainly the most favorite matchup Imbolc could have asked for left. And man, the Commanders are on a roll. So Katoto completely finished with Hunter and Priest. He went undefeated. Clark Kent still has Warlock, and Slimsh still has Freeze Mage. So right now it's Clark Kent with Warlock and Slimsh with Freeze Mage. It's no secret to the league that Clark Kent is a huge handlock player, so I would definitely be expecting that. What do you guys think in terms of where can the Auctioneers? Do you just go back to D lineman?
I think you go back to Freeze Mage again.
Well, you're looking at a handlock and a Freeze Mage, so I guess you could go. Honestly, you probably go to the Face Hunter, right? It's a very aggressive Face Hunter. I mean, stuff like Misdirection are all but dead. We haven't even seen Microwave's Paladin.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen D Lyman's Warlock, which I would also presume is a handlock.
That's definitely a handlock.
Yeah, that is his favorite deck in the game. So it's some tough decisions. I mean, that last game is just so crushing. The Auctioneers trying to get the Freeze Mage out of the way. They had the best matchup, and Katoda able to take it from them. The Commanders have got to be feeling really good. There's some very aggressive decks that Microwave might be able to actually beat both Freeze Mage and Handlock. But that Paladin, I mean, so basically, the Paladin is generally is one of the worst matchups. Like, Freeze Mage is very favorite, I would say, versus Paladin.
Yep, it was great that they got that out of the way in game one.
Wait. Yeah, it was good that. Sorry, I was talking. It is confusing because there's Paladins and.
Good that the Commanders did.
Yeah,
okay.
To get it out of the way. I'm saying that the Auctioneers, like, if they play Paladin here and it's Freeze Mage, they're really sad. If they play Paladin,
they're sad with just about anything that they've got.
Yeah, looking at the mirror, did we even see a Healbot from Imbolc? We didn't.
No, he does not run it.
Okay, so he's running double Loot Hoarder instead of Healbot. Personally, I like the Healbot, or at least some sort of heal, especially with all the aggressive Paladins. So I would say without a doubt, Slimsh's Freeze Mage is a little favored. Just the fact that he has some healing, even though it's only an Illuminator, that's a huge deal in the Freeze Mage mirror. It looks like the Commanders are going to send out Clark Kent with Warlock. So the MVP, the league MVP, and part of the championship team looking to kind of seal this up. We know he's a huge handlock player, and he's kind of fondly nicknamed Handlock for his rope coach gymnastics.
He's nicknamed Handlock?
I'm sorry, life coach. Sorry. So I'm looking at a page.
Rope coach?
Rope coach, life coach. I'm looking at a spreadsheet full of classes, and just, it's hard to talk. Thank you, though. And it looks like we're about to get the Auctioneers' response. Their best class here, I would expect, would be... Oh, they go with Imbolc Druid. So that's a good, safe pick. I actually overlooked that because that does well against Handlock and generally does very well.
And you can safely know that it's not going to be a zoo.
Right. I mean, you're going against Clark. I mean, that's about as safe as D Lyman.
Right.
Yeah, so I agree. That's probably a really good pick. I like that pick from the Auctioneer. So we'll be hopping into that shortly. What do you guys think of this matchup? Who's favored? I mean, yeah. I think it's pretty obvious. I guess that was a bad question. I'd say the Druid is very favored. Is there
Yes.
any keys that the handlock can play here to win this, Dan, as a handlock player yourself?
I mean, you just need to, I guess, hope that you don't get silenced and that your taunts actually work, because the burst is so huge that you don't have the luxury of sitting and watching a hunter predictably bring you down to then drop the moltens that you know he's just going to have to run his stuff into, because he could just silence his way around them. / they're capable of doing 20 damage in one turn off an empty board. So it sucks. It's just it's really rough.
It's pretty rough. I will say, as someone who also loves handlock, like
Especially
yourself,
with the aspirant, I would say.
Oh, it's
Because
very
now you don't even get to sit there and tap safely
right.
while they do their wild growth. You have
Absolutely.
to actually deal with. It's ridiculous.
It's gonna be really hard for Clark to pull this one out. It is. I will say though that Druid, its big weakness as a class, it has two, I would say, enormous weaknesses as a class. Oh man, that hand from Imbolc. That's a BGH, and that is the card out of 30 that you want to see. And Clark Kent with the double juke, we could say safely is playing handlock. We talked about the analysis. Clark Kent
Badass.
bringing Zoo, my boy. Oh, love it. So that is a huge juke, and we're going to see Imbolc completely mess up this mulligan, and Clark is going to smartly not show what he's mulliganing. Yeah. So that's one of the tells. Handlock is one of the biggest tells, since there's such a variance, is not showing how much you're sending away. Clark
Honestly, if you're gonna send it all away, I would think that
you do it early. Yeah.
you do it right away, because that just plays into your favor.
So Imbolc keeping the Imbolc has a really good hand.
Yeah, he does.
Clark does not.
Clark has an atrocious hand. And actually, it's funny because the Sea Giant is one way to kind of finish this game quickly, but it will not go uncontested. So Clark's going to begin by tapping, and Imbolc.
It looks like a handlock.
And it honestly might.
Oh
be
my!
Honestly, this could go to turn 4, where he drops the Void Caller, and Imbolc thinks he's playing against handlock, and then he's going to be rudely awakened. And Void Terror. This is going to go to turn 4. I think dropping Void Terror here is.
I think that's terrible. But also, Void Caller pulls out.
Actually,
I think Void Terror's the play here.
Void Terror is definitely the play here. Yeah, it challenges the aspirant, and yeah, for giggles, I kind of wanted to pretend this is a handlock, and now Imbolc's like, wait, what?
Yeah, what is going on?
Imbolc is.
He's got a clear and he can develop a shredder, so he's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, Imbolc has a very good hand, and he's got the aspirant out. And Zoo's not the best class at coming from behind, but Clark Kent's hand is extremely powerful. So it could.
If he doesn't get the Void Caller to pull out the Doom Guard, then then one of them is basically dead.
Right. Well, he does have 2 Void Callers, so maybe he'll draw the second. But this hand is brutal from Clark Kent.
You forgot all the Zoo cards.
Yeah, it looks like he built this pretty heavy. I mean, this is. Yeah, this is just rough. What do you do here as Imbolc?
I think with Big Game Hunter in your hand, you definitely consider popping the Void Caller, but I think ultimately you just play Azure Drake and hit face.
What?
Yeah, I think face is the place. He's just going.
Oh, and he got it!
Wow.
That is going to get the worst one from Clark. So Clark with the absolute worst RNG. That does open up the Sea Giant. But man, double aspirant. This is a nightmare from the
Hey!
Warlock. Oh, there's a turn 1 card.
Nice to see you.
So I think this is just a a Implosion, Imp Gang play.
There's an Imp Gang?
Except there's no end
I'm
game.
sorry, Flame Imp
Flame Imp. Okay.
play, right? I mean, it curves well. Playing the Doom Guard feels terrible, and you might be able to get the Giant out if this all works out perfectly. Wait, can you? No, you have no.
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 It would be 1 mana.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you implode, nope. There's no way to
Nope.
get the Giant
The
out.
implode camp. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So, but it will help develop the Giant, and give you some board presence. Of course, a swipe would be devastating, and after Imbolc, Clark's current luck has just been so bad. Maybe he's really scared of the swipe.
I don't think you can afford to play a Doom Guard here. Though.
I completely agree. I think your hand is extremely powerful, and it basically just needs to. Well,
Rolls a 2.
this is just a
Jeez.
bloodbath for Clark. This is so rough.
And we see half the combo.
Half the combo, and he's playing 5 mana against 7 mana as Imbolc has both aspirants out, and this board is not going to do much to contest those.
And he picks up the other half of the combo.
Oh man, and that's going to be next turn lethal.
Yep.
If this board stays even remotely same. I think if you're Imbolc here, you just go face.
I think you kill off the little imps.
You think? Oh, really?
And then hit face. Yeah. You want to set up so that it takes 1 minion with your Savage Roar to
yes.
make lethal. Yeah, he can even just clear the whole thing.
If he protects the aspirants, he has actual combo next turn.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't considering that. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's an excellent point. Well, this is game. There's absolutely nothing that Clark can do here.
He can kill an aspirant and shut off combo.
I think he's still dead, though. Right? Or no, he's not. 19.
No.
6 plus 4, 10. Plus... Okay, so he's not dead at all. 10, 12. 7
Yet.
short. Yeah. So if he doesn't kill
But
an aspirant...
but I don't see a way out.
The only way he wins is with a huge defender of Argus. But by the time that happens...
Not playing Handlock.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Well, I'm sure he's got it somewhere in his deck. But
Well, so this is pretty devastating to the Commanders. They got the matchup they absolutely wanted, and the surprise factor was huge. However, he's going to hit the 4-4, and that's actually
that's game.
surprisingly enough. And Imbolc will win this game with absolutely perfect answers, perfect luck, getting the 33% chance, and Clark having I think actually the worst RNG he possibly could have had all game. With the wrong Mal'Ganis coming out, or the wrong Demon coming out, the worst Implosion, and a terrible starting hand, and then drawing into Dr. Boom and other terrible cards late game. For the early game. So the Druid steamrolls the surprise Zoobring from the Commanders, and is not a class you want to kind of be stuck with. Zoo, while it is good, it actually might get stuck here. Because
It definitely might.
Freeze
Handlock.
is favored. Handlock is favored. Face Hunter is very favored. And the Paladin, I don't know enough about that matchup. Do you want to illuminate us a little bit there, Cassidy?
Again, it depends what it is. If it's Secret Paladin, it's probably favored, but Secret can just draw so dead in that matchup that it'll lose. If it's mid-range is definitely favored.
Mid-range Paladin. Yeah, mid-range.
Yeah.
So the Secret Paladin is what I would fully expect from Microwave. So I would definitely hedge our bets on that. So that's a huge win. Not only is that a huge win, the fact that it's Zoo is a huge win for the Auctioneers, and that could potentially be a huge turnaround and comeback for them. The Commanders have got to be feeling a little nervous looking at this sheet. They have that Zoo left, and they have Slimsh's Freeze Mage, which is another deck that, I mean, it can be hard to get wins with. That being said, most of these decks are very favored, or somewhat favored for the Freeze Mage. A fast enough Hunter with a good enough hand can definitely beat a Freeze Mage, especially a Freeze Mage like Slimsh's that lacks Healbot, which is one of the best cards in the matchup. Illuminator, I think, is just straight up worse than
Healbot.
in that matchup. It's just too slow, and
In what matchup is it better?
So it's really good in control matchups. It's very good against like a.
But 4 health is so easy to remove. I feel like in the best case, you always just get 4 back from it. Because it eats a Death Spite and a True Silver equally.
Yeah, I would say it's probably
To a,
best. I would say it's probably
Healbot.
best against like. I mean, even a priest. Although I guess it could get Caballed.
Caballed,
yeah,
yeah.
that's interesting. I haven't.
I feel like it might be more of a play against a Hunter.
So I don't think a hunter would ever leave that up for 2 turns, and
It wouldn't, but it's
it contends
cheaper,
early
right?
board.
It's cheaper than a...
Honestly, I think the deck
Healbot.
it's really made for is Paladin. The Secret Paladins, it can test boards at 3 mana. It can test the board control a little bit more, able to kill off jugglers.
Does it cost 3 or 4?
I believe it costs 3.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a
Uh-huh.
huge difference then already.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to look that up right now because I'm not positive about it, but
It's sounding to me like it definitely is more favored for an aggro matchup than a control one, because a control is just gonna ping it off
right.
without much issue.
The Illuminator is indeed a 3 mana card. Or
Okay.
wait, I'm sorry. Is that correct? I don't see it in the 3s. Oh,
Pretty
it is
expensive
a 3.
at 4.
It is 3, and the reason I know it's a 3 is because I've tried putting it in decks and I never find it in my collection because I'm always looking in the 4s. All right. So we know what's going on. It will be the matchup we were just discussing. It will be Microwave with his very aggressive Hunter against Slumpsh's Freeze Mage. This is probably definitely one of the matchups that Auctioneers wanted. They definitely want to hide that Paladin until they absolutely can get it against Zoo, or, at the very worst case, bring it up against Freeze Mage. I think the Illuminator, just to finish the discussion we were talking about, I think the Illuminator probably shines best against Paladin, if I had to put a finger on it. It really contests that early board, and it's a little, I think, I don't know, like it's able to also eat up some of that early damage the Paladin can do. That being said, I'm not really sure why you'd want an Illuminator against Paladin since it's already so favored. All right, well, we will jump in to Slimsh versus Microwave here. And I need to mess that up. Okay. So I am not in the game yet. Do you want to?
We've got an Arcane Golem, an Abusive Sergeant, and a Freezing Trap from Microwave that he has yet to mulligan. And Slim is looking at a Frost Nova, an Ice Block, Alex, and a Fireball. So he's going to send, I expect, all of that back.
Ice Block, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd expect to see that all sent back. Okay, so I'm looking at it now. Oh, no. So you keep Alexstrasza in this matchup. You keep Alexstrasza.
Oh, okay.
And you get rid of the rest. And then Microwave, I would expect to get rid of all of that. He knows it's a Freeze Mage. The reason you keep Alexstrasza, and some mulligans it. That is 100% incorrect. The Alexstrasza, basically, you will need Alexstrasza to either win the game or
to save you. Yeah.
Immediately on turn 9. You will be so worn out and like battle worn from a hunter that you need Alexstrasza. It's something is one of the least intuitive keeps and something that Hyped has taught. I think it is the first thing I teach any Freeze Mage player I'm coaching is keep Alexstrasza against Hunter. Anyway,
Interesting.
Microwave, interestingly, decided to keep his entire hand.
Was that... Wait, did he just mulligan? Did he already mulligan, perhaps?
Nope.
There's
Didn't
no
look
way
like
you
it.
keep Freeze... There's no way you keep Freeze Trap.
He might have gotten it back. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It looks the same, though. It's the same orientation.
Yeah, it is the same orientation. I was too busy talking. Well, Microwave is going to just get these minions down. I think you want to play... Definitely want to play... The Horse Rider. I like this. What?
He traded.
Slimsh is so happy to see that. And so this is an interesting point. Players who don't play Freeze Mage often don't know how to play against Freeze Mage. And so I think Microwave probably... Wow. So Microwave, wow. He trades, he gets a good 2-drop, and now he can start hero powering, which is very important. Run the 2-1 in. Slimshard elects to play on curve, which is
I felt that was a little interesting that he didn't just ping that off.
I also would agree with that because he has no turn 5 or 4 play. And you want to be considering like what you want to be doing turn 4, and he could have saved 2 damage here by just playing the Ice Barrier here, because you're not going to want to Frostbolt off the 2/2. It's not very intimidating at this point, but you do basically he just threw away 2 damage. I think that is also potentially a misplay. If he does Frostbolt or Frost Nova here, it would justify itself a little bit. But I think the clear play here is just ping and pass. Right now, Microwave's hand is just a little awkward, a little rough. He does top deck a okay card, at least something to play. Playing the Arcane Golem is really rough because you never want to give an extra mana to any combo deck.
Right.
So I like the fact that he's sitting on it now. I like that. Slimsh does get a Loot Hoarder, which is fantastic for him. And that's something that might be able to contest the board. I'd like to see a Loot Hoarder ping here on the Mad Scientist. If you're Microwave, I think the play would probably be Unleash. You almost never get to Unleash, and you can Unleash Kill Command, which is something you want to get out of your hand.
Yeah,
Microwave,
it fits your curve.
Yeah, it fits your curve. It's something you want to get out of your hand. It looks like we're going to see Slimsh Frostbolt this. That's okay. That's an okay play. I'm alright with that. That's a misdirection, which is Slimsh knows that trap. He saw he saw Clark Kent's game against Microwave, so he's aware that Slimsh or Microwave does play misdirection. I would assume he would play around it. There's really no need to ever play attack into a hunter's face at this point in the game. You really value that draw a lot more. Microwave.
He might have also played the Hoarder planning to proc a Freezing Trap.
Oh, and that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And that since he's not playing Healbot, that's a fair play. If Microwave plays this Unleash and Kill Command, I will be very impressed. I think it's the wrong play, but I would be impressed that he is taking the time to get that Unleash out of his hand. I like this play much, much, much more. And now he's going to continue to go all face, which is probably correct, but he will give away the fact that this is not a he will give away the fact that this is not a Freezing Trap and a misdirection. So Slimsh knows that trap, and that's very useful information. The Illuminator, he picks up the Illuminator, he gets the Alexstrasza, which is very lucky and rewards him for mulliganing away. If he didn't pick that up and you don't get it by turn 9, you almost 100% will lose this matchup. He has no secrets, which is extremely awkward. And so I guess he's contemplating whether a Blizzard is actually worthwhile here. Personally,
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah,
I don't see a problem with it.
It's okay. I would actually probably like the Illuminator and a ping on the C2. Because you know it's not freezing, you can kill it off the Illuminator and ping it off. You can do some stuff. I like the Illuminator here. The Blizzard's also totally fine. I think both plays are justifiable. Saving the Illuminator for heals is totally unacceptable. Oh, and I glitched out.
Well, if you leave Leok up, any sort of charge minion gets the buff from it.
Wow, double Leok, by the way, is just
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Unlucky. And I think if you're Microwave here, you gotta he's gonna play this Freezing Trap in hero power. The more hero power, the better. And he's not.
Were you gonna say Kill Command?
Yes, I was gonna say Kill Command. If this Leok gets removed, then he's really starting to thin out. There's not a lot more animals, or beasts in the deck.
He has the Hounds.
He does have the Hounds, but that could potentially be awkward. I do like that he's hero powering every single turn. Microwave is going to take a huge risk here. Or sorry, Slimsh, if he drops this Antonitis.
If he drops that, yeah, big time.
At this point, with no secrets in his deck, he has to start taking some risks. And this is an okay one. It will be... I wouldn't even say punished. I would just say...
Ooh.
I think it was a good play. It's going to eat up a lot of burn from Microwave and his entire turn. So I like this play as a stall mechanic. And Slimsh now is just going to have to survive really one more turn before he can Alex.
I think if you're Microwave, you have to ignore this, because you just don't have any other way to win the game if you're using your burn spells to remove Archmage.
Mm-hmm. And you could do 2, 6.
You need to just
11. You could do 13.
The bow seems really awkward. He seems to agree with you. He's going to ignore it
and kill command. Yes.
Definitely need to kill command here, without a doubt.
Because he's not going to drop a. You're ahead of the Alex turn. He's not going to drop taunts, and you've got the golem and another weapon.
You have a chance to win right here.
You've got 9 damage next turn. I don't. Yeah, he's not going to kill you in 1 turn.
Oh
no.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's going to be the game.
I wouldn't say that's going to be the game. First of all, and second of all, I think that's pretty understandable considering how terrifying Antonitis is.
But he's got.
How
30,
is it terrifying though if you're out racing it?
If you're at 30 health.
I completely agree it was the wrong play, but I would also say it's fairly understandable. It's a tough call to make. Slimmage picks up the Doom Guard, which will guarantee nothing's left on board. Will Microwave just have lethal? 5 plus he can play his full hand,
7.
so 5 plus 4.
He would have.
9 plus 5. He's 1 off.
Yep, he easily would have had it.
He should have done that math. That being said,
or if he doesn't trade with Thalnos early in the game, he has lethal here.
That being he can top deck into tons of things to give him lethal. Basically, any charger will give him lethal.
Or a quick shot.
All right, with this freeze, it now needs to be like he needs like a kill command or something. That's definitely not it. In fact, that's kind of bad. And now he is, yeah. So that kill command is starting to really hurt Microwave. The lack of it, he would have had lethal at this point. Slimsh without the secrets, though, even with the Alexstrasza, isn't in the best spot because Microwave isn't like. I mean, Microwave can just kill him in like 2 turns, even if he Alexstrazzas himself, which he certainly will, unless he picks up an ice block. Even with an ice block, he's gonna probably have to play.
Yeah, so if you're Microwave here, you need to play everything from hand, but you play Juggler last.
I wonder.
He's gonna put first.
I don't even. Well, yeah. I guess denying the draw is pretty important.
I mean, I guess you can play the RNG, but knowing that he doesn't have a secret in hand because he would have played it by now. Oh, didn't get rewarded.
He gets rewarded.
So, I totally didn't remember that. Did he just miss lethal?
No.
No.
He was I believe he was like
he was a couple off.
3 off lethal.
He was 2 off. Because the Leok's giving extra
with the juggler.
Attack.
The juggler.
Hmm?
The juggler hit face, so he was 3. If he dropped the Arcane instead.
Is there a juggler on the board right now?
Yeah, it's glitched out. Yeah, it's glitched out for me as well.
Okay.
So, Slimsh picks up the ice block. That is enormous. Absolutely enormous. It's still looking really bad for him, but what he can do here is he can try to, like, burn out all of Microwave's instant burn, and then Alex himself.
Yep.
The thing is, with Misdirect up, Alex isn't the threat it usually is to Face Hunter. I've won many games by actually hitting Face Hunter in the face with Alex. So it isn't its normal, beautiful threat. It's just kind of going to prolong this game a little bit. The freezing trap is going to come down here. We're going to see a flame strike. Or, I'm sorry, not flame strike. I'm what saying. The Illuminator.
Yep, the Illuminator's clutch here.
Illuminator's super clutch, and maybe we'll get a little bit. Wow, I need to.
What in the world?
This is so
swing and a miss. We got ice lances missing. We got juggler knives being thrown without being able to be seen.
Yeah.
Wow, the juggler working hard to pay the bills. You gotta kill the Illuminator. Well, you run 1 in, find out that it's freezing. It's freeze. Because if it's an ice block, the Illuminator is less dangerous. Or I'm sorry, ice barrier, frost barrier, whatever.
Yes, you swing in.
So you swing in with the 5-2. Okay, it's ice block, so now you have to run in the other two. Actually, you probably need to proc it. You definitely proc it. What am I saying?
Yeah.
Oh, and that's game. That is game. That was such a misplay. If you don't proc it, he can Alex offensively.
He just gets a whole nother turn.
Yeah, he Alexes offensively, and there's like very little way. Oh man.
The misdirect.
Well, so he Alex offensively, and he doesn't quite have lethal here, but this is just. Wait, what?
Well, he's got an extra turn now, so he might as well.
No,
But
but no.
Hero Power's gonna proc it.
Okay, so
Sure, but then he can Alex himself.
Slimsh is 100% dedicating to Alexing defensively, and you want to play Doomsayer. If you're gonna go with this play, I disagree with this play. I think you should Alex offensively, but
All right, here comes the flare off the top.
man, no Doomsayer even.
Flare, no, leper,
Leper
no.
Gnome. Okay, so
So if he had played Doomsayer, he would have died.
that's a great point. That's a super good point.
He would have died right there.
All right, so Doomsayer would have.
All right.
All right.
All right.
I stand corrected. All right, so now he has no choice but to Alex defensively. But the thing is this: so generally when this happens, and this happens a lot, it works out. But that misdirection is actually like
Huge.
worst possible trap for Microwave.
Yeah, because
Or I'm sorry for
Alex can't attack.
Alex is completely useless, and he's gonna have. Someone's just gonna have to try to find some
Alex
other way.
disappeared into a cloud of dust.
Freezes the Ice Lance, or I'm sorry, Ice Lance.
Oh, quick shot!
Quick shot!
Wow.
What a draw!
Best draw for Microwave here. He's
Gotta get that hero power in, bro. I feel ya.
first, which honestly is a misplay if he's playing archers, whatever those archer girls are called.
Brave Archer.
Brave Archer. Thank you.
Why?
Because, what?
What the?
Well, he wants to. Oh my god.
What the?
No, it's to free up the misdirection.
Yeah, but then Slumsh won't attack again, and he'll just win in 2 turns.
Right. No, I know. But I think that's the play. Or the thought.
Well, Microwave has to realize that his misdirection has been shown. Slimsh is also, even if the misdirection wasn't shown, Slimsh is an accomplished enough player to not.
Yeah, and even if misdirection hits the gnome, it
Now
doesn't
Slimsh
hit your
can
face.
play a bunch of minions. Too many for Microwave to even deal with. And he honestly just needs to play one. Okay, this is gonna be so funny. Microwave, I don't even know if he might even commit to killing that minion. Owling and killing the minion. I wouldn't even be surprised. He should certainly owl it. Is he gonna kill it? Alright, well,
I don't know, man.
now the misdirection's been procced. Going into Slimsh's face would be the absolute worst one. That was actually the best possible one for. Oh, Slimsh has lethal.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got Pyroblast.
Really threw. Really some questionable plays for Microwave. Slimsh also, I think, had some questionable plays. It turns out that Slimsh is able to take it. That was definitely probably the best possible matchup for the Auctioneers, trying to get the mage. That being said, the Auctioneers can try and just corner the Zoo. Zoo is one of the most consistent.
Sure.
But it certainly has some bad matchups ahead of it. It's got the Secret Paladin, which I believe you said was slightly favored.
I would think the Secret Paladin is, but I mean, that can go so many different ways in that matchup.
Right. Okay. The Face Hunter, I would say, is definitely favored.
Yes.
And then
Freeze Mage is definitely
Freeze
favored.
Mage is definitely favored. Although that Zoo looked pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Which is definitely a better build against a Freeze Mage. And Mage can draw dead. So it is definitely one of the worst matchups. And then the Zoo lock or hand lock is very favored. So I would say every single matchup is favored towards the Auctioneers, but Clark Kent's a very, very strong player. He has the Golden Warlock. He knows what he's doing. It'll be very rough for the Auctioneers to win. What is that? 4 games in a row. And we may just end up with the exact same score of yesterday, with a 6-3 win. So yeah, we're waiting to see. Obviously, we know that the Commanders are going to be bringing the zoo, so we're waiting on the Auctioneers to see what they'd bring. If you're the Auctioneers here, if you're in bulk and you're the captain, who would you send out?
I'm sending in Handlock.
Send in D Lyman.
Sending in the #1 pick.
Get that #1 pick.
We got to give the ball to LeBron and we get out of the way.
Yep, that's the play. Kobe Bryant would totally agree with you. He would be like,
I don't know about that.
Anyway, yeah, I agree. I think you just send in D Lyman. I think he's, very favored, very strong player. And just have him try to get some momentum for the team. Honestly, this is not one of those sort of games. Like yesterday, we had a lot of unfavored matchups against Mange. So like we were just like, let's just get Shaman out of the way against the Paladin.
Mm-hmm.
But in this scenario, every single one of your matchups is theoretically favored. So you kind of might want to try to build up some momentum. Maybe get Clark a little tilted, a little shaken.
Yeah, because, what we've seen so far is we've seen a Face Hunter trying to trade, so I think we want
How many times has the Face Hunter lost? The Face Hunter lost right
2 or 3 times. I think 3.
Face Hunter lost to the Warlock, or sorry, to the Warrior, or the Druid. The Face Hunter lost to the Druid, and so it's lost 3 times, and then it lost to the Freeze Mage. So the Face Hunter just not getting, the Hunter is just not getting it done.
I think we retire the Hunter for a while.
Yeah, I think also Microwave's got to
definitely.
be a little tilted. He's lost some games. That last game was very went kind of poorly. I think the big play was Antonitis. Throwing away the kill command. All right, well the Auctioneers elect to send out LeBron with the.
Here he goes.
So we're gonna see some Warlock on Warlock action here, which is definitely an action that has a if you bring Sack Pack, that spices it up a little bit. You know what I mean?
It's a champion's tech.
Sideboarding in Hearthstone. Make it happen, Blizzard.
Make it happen. All right, so they will. Let's see here. Where's D Lyman?
He is hanging out in the main menu.
All right, so they'll be going into that quickly or shortly rather. So I think I like this play. I think you send out, you get the momentum rolling, and then you try to snowball it. And Zoo is a class that it's very consistent, but it seems to have gotten a little bit weaker since I think that this might be one of the weakest points Zoo's ever been at actually.
Yeah, I do think it's kind of primed for a comeback. Because Patron is now out of the way.
Wait, you mean that the 3 cost to give a +2/+2 and give a mana crystal to the opponent wasn't the savior card?
Oh yeah, is Patron worse?
I don't know. I would say the name, and the joke would have been zippier, but I don't know the name
Warsong Commander.
because it's the worst thing ever.
No, the new Warlock card.
Fire, demon.
Oh.
The worst version of Demon Fire. Demon Wrath, I believe it's called. Or Demon Fuse, yes.
Demon Fuse.
Demon Trash.
Trump fixed the card, and it was really anyway. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Some of the reactions. All right, well, Clark Kent not starting off with 5/7 drops, so a little better. D Lyman kicks everything back, and he gets an Owl double Void Caller into Sun Fury. This is a hand that contests boards. Even without the demons behind these Void Callers, they're gonna make Clark Kent very uneasy, and potentially won't trade into them, or even if he does, he's going to lose value. Double Power Overwhelming and the Doom Guard and the Void Terror. This hand is looking pretty rough for Clark here. Luckily, usually Zoo plays a lot of low drops. That's yet to be seen.
Right. In
Clark,
theory.
we haven't seen any Imp Gang boss.
Oh my gosh. Well, at least he does have a creeper. He's got something.
Yeah, and he's playing against Handlock, which is a deck he knows the inside and out. So he should feel right at home, kind of predicting the turns. D Lyman has the opportunity here to play the Sun Fury. He doesn't. He's no turn 1 play is excellent to see. Clark picks up the Egg, which is enormous, with double Power Overwhelmings. He's got the Void Terror. He's got the Wombo combo. However, D Lyman has the owl, so we'll see how that turns out. Clark playing the spider, which seems good. Mal'Ganis is enormous, as it's going to give these void callers a little bit of ass to back it up. That didn't work out. Just keep going. Somebody save it. Just go. I went for it.
Speaking of demon junk in a trunk, you're welcome.
Dan swoops in with the
So
save.
many possibilities.
As I am wont to do.
Molten Giant.
The Molten Giant is just so nice. D Lyman is just cruising.
Yeah.
He is going to need to find either a Shadow Flame or a Hellfire eventually.
Oh, whatever. He's got it all.
He's fine.
It's fine. He's got the gold void colors.
wonder.
That's something you have to craft.
I told you, John, you should be proud of me. On Friday night, I crafted my first Golden Legend, and now all I want to do is throw more money at the game, and I'm really mad about it.
Because you're
It's Dr. Boom.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair. That's fair. That's the best one, and I am proud of
He's
you.
like, oh yeah, I remember my first golden legend.
Had some dust lying around, and I was like, yeah, I really like this Golden Harrison. I'm going to make a Golden Dr. Boom. And like now, all I want to do is just make everything gold, and I hate it.
You've been bitten. You've been bitten. It's over, man. Well, Clark is trying to map out his turns here. He's going to go with the abusive, try to add a little more pressure. I would be surprised if we don't see.
Oh, here comes the Void Terror.
A very safe Void Terror, and so he's very conservative with it, and that's going to really I guess we'll probably still see the owl or the BGH.
My God.
The BGH off the top.
So honestly, I think we'll see an owl because the BGH is enormous, but there's so many BGH targets. There's a Mal'Ganis, there's a Dr. Boom, there's a lot. So
I think there's just the two.
Well, we also saw there's the Sea
Giant.
So
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So the owl is definitely a better play. It will kind of be traded away for free because the 1/1s. I am a little surprised we saw that considering the enormous synergy with the egg and the power overwhelming. But I guess Clark's play here is to just go for a huge power overwhelming lethal, and try to maybe sneak in
Right, if
lethal.
you can burst past the Moltens.
Right. And I think that's understandable. Clark gets the on-curve Void Caller with the Demon in hand. So that was one of the best, if not probably actually the best top deck Clark could have gotten.
I think it's a fair pickup given the top deck BGH we just saw.
Oh, and by the way, D Lyman just played the BGH, which is interesting. I guess he wanted something that gave a little more board presence.
I think he's going to silence this.
Yep.
All right, well, D Lyman is playing
Or he'll play his own Void
favorite
Caller.
deck.
Alright.
And I would definitely not question
Ooh.
plays. Clark picking up a demon, which you can easily get rid of. I guess the play here is tap, and then egg, play the demon. The egg's really nice to kind of give insurance. Wow, another abusive sergeant. So he can pop this Void Caller, but I would be shocked if he did.
Now, he'll save the Abusive Sergeant to pop the egg, I think.
Yeah, I mean, once Zeus stops giving... once Zeus stops controlling the board, though, it's just so rough. And it's in a Zoo player's instincts to just sort of continually clear. I think that this with no response, really, I think it is definitely wrong to kill this Void Caller, though. And I don't think he will. I think we'll definitely see this egg, and yeah. All right, so he's going to try to continue to knock D Lyman's health a little bit lower. The heal bottle makes sure that D Lyman feels comfortable.
Maybe too comfortable, though.
That's true.
Now he'll silence the Void Caller. He'll get Mortal Coil value out of it, and he can even Dark Bomb away the Imp if he wants.
Yeah, and he's
wow, and there's
He's cruising.
This is incredible. So right now, D Lyman really wants to get out that second Void Caller, so he doesn't bring out the Void Caller with his own Void Caller. Too many. Anyway, he wants to ensure that he gets Mal'Ganis and Doomguard off these Void Callers, since he's got what we like to call a 1-to-1 ratio with his DDs.
Right, it's D to D.
His D to
His
D.
double Ds? Yeah, 1-to-1.
His D to D, as Furpo coined famously.
That was P to P.
Well, that was P to P. This is a D to D ratio. You're right.
Right.
Yeah, the P to P ratio.
They're extremely
Pirate to parrot
disparate
ratio.
concepts. I don't know why you're saying they're the same.
Job's
For
done.
people who don't know, pirate to parrot ratio coming down.
Critical to your trolling
Yes.
pirate decks
When
that
you're
actually
running-
kind of kick ass.
When you're running Poison Blade, you gotta know your P to P ratios. So Clark Kent astutely silencing off this his Doomin, his Void Caller, and that's going to sort of deny D Lyman the easy 1-to-1 D to D ratio. He's now at a 0.5 D to D ratio, and that's just not a ratio you want to be at.
All right, Tan and Grace.
All right. However,
Useless statistics with Tan and Grace, aka Viridic.
I'm sorry that I like to have fun. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
Well, Clark Kent is looking at enormous burst rate here. He has 8 plus 5, and that is
13.
13. Thank you.
But that's a suit. Oh, I guess he has the egg. Never mind. He has a body.
So he is looking for the sneak attack right now. We got a rogue player.
I don't think that's that worth it though, because then he's gonna have 5 left.
Oh, it absolutely.
Oh no, he won't do it now.
He won't do it, but he's considering it, and if he can maybe just sneak in a little damage here with the knife juggler, maybe a little abusive sergeant action,
There's a little tickle.
just a little tickle, nothing to scare out a taunt or heal, just a little tickle. So we'll see what he elects to do here. I would expect the knife juggler and abusive sergeant. He
Gonna have to do it
is not going to do that.
Uh-oh, what if he rolls a 4? Oh, he didn't.
And he does.
That was the perfect roll.
Yeah, so now actually
Ooh, low
Clark is really trying to set up this lethal. The abusive sergeant can add
low
extra
theb.
too. But it looks like D Lineman might be getting a little suspicious of that very odd play. D Lineman has basically just every answer in his hand. We do see a low theb, which is interesting. It's not often run in Demon Handlock. We also saw Double Owl, another thing not often run in Handlock. And this Lothab will prevent any shenanigans of the power overwhelming kind from going off. That
There's
Dr.
Dr.
Boom,
Boom.
though. Now the thing is this, Dr. Boom will certainly get a response from D Lyman. We'd expect something. He doesn't have a power overwhelming or any sort of way of killing it without trading. So you would expect that with that many resources going into a Dr. Boom, he would end up having to play a little more conservatively with his life total. So what's the play here? It's got to be Dr. Boom, right?
I think it's got to be.
It's gotta be.
So he's going to do that. I would have... Yeah, I guess it's too suspicious to ignore the owl trade and go face. So I guess we'll see Dr. Boom and go face here from Clark. Living up to his rope coach name, taking
There it is.
just the appropriate amount of time to drop the best card in the game. He also doesn't attack face.
Yeah, he holds off.
And it's turn 9, so if he put him to 17,
He would be able to Molten Sun Fury.
Molten Sun Fury. So MVP showing why he got that. So I like that play a lot. And he's already seen a BGH, so it's very atypical for Handlock to play both. But D Lyman is going to close the hatches and clinch. And it looks like this is going to get a good clear.
Oh,
He gets the best one. Mal'Ganis would have been actually just totally fine too.
yeah.
And this is going to be set up a nice swing, set up lethal. And Clark Kent, with really good boom bots, could he win?
I'm trying to do the math.
All right. So what can he play? He can play everything. He's
Doom Guard, double power, abusive.
9. Okay, so you can't play the juggler. So
No.
first thing, yeah, I like this. You play
I wonder.
Boombot, and it hits.
Oh,
For 4! Is that it?
well.
Okay,
I-
that's meaningless.
What
Let's
did that
see Wait. So that's
That just
Nine?
Where did that
Eight.
move up?
11
13.
plus 5. It's exact lethal!
It is.
Exact lethal! Oh my god! So D Lyman plays it pretty much perfectly.
Wow.
Doesn't play around the classic 4 damage boom bot
Wow.
to the taunt, and that is going to be game. Clark Kent not messing around, playing it, just sitting on that play. You know, we were like, man, he's got the Void Terror, so turn 3, just drop those. Clark Kent had other plans in mind, and he's able to pull out the win, and that is extremely impressive. I am very impressed. I mean, the fact that he was able to control where that boombot hit and exactly for lethal was just incredible. So, well played. Both players, I think, did play very well. To D Lyman, to his credit, you can never expect that much burst from a zoo. So, yeah. So that is game. The Commanders take it convincingly with a 6-2 victory over the Auctioneers, and they will be playing next weekend on Sunday at the same time at 6 p.m. We're gonna try and I think we're gonna try to interview Slimsh and potentially his entire team. So we'll have that for you guys. But yeah, so the championship game will be the Warsong Commanders, led by Slimsh and with Clark Kent and Katota, against the Starving Buzzards, led by Mange with Andy Rogers and Almace. We are going to try to get them in this call shortly for a little post-game interview. Really exciting series. Some crazy RNG again. Boombots are probably just honestly, Dr. Boom doesn't even matter. I would play 2 Boombots for 7 mana, I think. They're just that ridiculous. All right, so let's see if we can get them in here. Sorry, bear with me. You guys do stuff.
Huh?
Fill the air, you know, just while I
You do it so well. You're letting us get fat easy over here.
All right. Well, let me try to get him in here.
Is it everyone or just Slimsh?
What do you guys think? Should we just get Slimshin or just get the whole team? Last time we had Katota in our chat, the world ended in the form
right. Cassidy's already got a storm to deal with.
Yeah, Cassidy's got one. So I think we just take the captain. I think it works.
Yeah, we'll just take Slimsh.
By the way, I would like to, for everyone watching, I did think after the fact that I should have said that Katota was hearing the Archon Storm.
Yes.
Back in that time. Less funny now, since it's like 3 weeks later.
No, it was wonderful. It's still funny. It's still perfect. All right, let me. I'm going to invite Slimsh to this call. So let's get him in here. All right, and yeah, this should be really, really exciting. This should be a really exciting matchup next weekend. As I was saying, it's going to be 6 p.m. We are doing it on Sunday and Saturday. Oh, hey, Mark.
Hey.
Sorry, Slimsh. Mark, Slimsh. Congrats, man.
Thank you. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a very convincing victory from you guys. Some pretty tight games there, but you guys were able to take them. A couple questions. So Clark Kent on Zoo. That was the shock of tonight.
Oh yeah, you expected him to be handlocked.
Oh,
right?
We took it for. We're like, all right, so you're gonna strategize. Obviously, it's a sure thing. He's bringing handlock.
Yeah.
And basically we planned our entire night around it, and then he came out and we saw Void Terror, and
and that really great draw, right?
Yeah, he had some very tough luck, and then it looks like, so initially you guys matched it up. You got you predicted the Druid with the Zoo. You got the perfect matchup you wanted for the surprise Zoo, but he had the worst possible draws, and unfortunately wasn't able to win. And then you had Zoo going up into a super anti-Zoo setup. How were you guys feeling going into those final couple of games with the cat out of the bag?
As far as Zoo is concerned, for those last few games, we were looking over the field, and Like they still had 4 classes left. We thought, I mean, obviously we went with getting Freeze Mage to win before Zeus, so like
Right.
the field looked pretty good for Freeze Mage, so we sent it in. It was able to win over the Hunter, and at that point, we figured that we just clean up with Zoo.
Right, right. And Zeus, I mean,
Makes
Zeus is
sense.
a very, very consistent class. So, yeah. So, did you going into this? Was that kind of the plan? The entire league knows Clark Kent as somewhat of a handlock player. Just sort of hide that information, and that'll really fool a lot of people's strategy.
Kind of. I mean, it's certainly you saw Andy Rogers last night who
Yeah, I was.
pulled out the Zoo, and he
Yeah.
typically plays handlock quite a bit as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as for like, it wasn't us just trying to play like some sick prank on people expecting handlock. Although Warlock definitely has that plus as a class,
Right. Sure.
Mhm.
with the flexibility. But I don't know. A lot of our initial talks were just talking about just the timing wise of the War Song nerf. Obviously, our namesake, the Commanders, was just a few days ago. So I don't know, a lot of us, a lot of our talks just centered around like Patron, and we talked about handlock. Like, did we think that it was going to be good?
Sure.
And I don't know. I was kind of under the impression that maybe handlock wasn't so ideal to
Uh-huh.
bring.
Well,
It's still pretty good, though.
Both teams that brought handlock lost, so it looks like it was a correct call on your part. I have a question. So speaking about Patron and the lack thereof, you guys were the only team not to bring Warrior and the only team to bring Priest, and it really shockingly paid off very, very well. How do you feel about that those class selections?
Well, yeah, like I said in our initial talks, I don't know. I may have had a little influence over this because I was playing a lot of Control Warrior on the ladder, and I don't know. I just wasn't really feeling too strong about Control Warrior
Mm-hmm.
overall. I don't know. I may have persuaded Igor and Nick into this heavily.
Okay.
I don't know. Like maybe they would have been fine bringing Warrior,
Right.
but
Well,
yeah, so
Igor looked right at home with that Priest, and as as a freeze mage player, and as it's a very unfavored matchup for the Priest. He honestly, he played it perfectly. It was
Yeah.
incredible.
yeah.
So it was really, really interesting to see that, and I think you were saying that he wanted to bring Priest, right? He's very adamant about that.
Yeah, just like in the initial talks, I think even in the draft spreadsheet, he placed Priest pretty high. And I was kind of interested in that because, I don't know, we were kind of talking about some of the classes that we were pretty sure people were going to bring. And we thought Priest lined up pretty okay, particularly the Control Priest, although who knows, maybe Dragon's the one next time.
And then, yeah, I mean, it was very impressive. Well played by him. We were really
Yeah,
impressed.
that game was awesome. We were having a lot of fun in the call watching that one because it was just like, even in the best case scenario where like if the freeze mage had, well, there were a few turns where like I think he was at 10 health and he could have had the fireball frostbolt ping to finish it, but he didn't quite have it, and that Alex Strauss was so far away. I don't know. It was just a crazy.
It was a
Crazy game.
roller coaster game, and
Ugh.
we could see both hands, and we could tell that Katoda was just. I mean, he was playing it perfectly, and in a one way you could tell is like Katoda never really top decked into anything. Like
Yeah.
that shows really meticulous planning, and the fact that he had all of his cards. Most people would have dropped that Justicar, try to make sure they ensure it's down. But Katoda knew that interaction. And in fact, both Dan and I were really excited when he dreamed it back because we thought he would be able to do it again.
Oh yeah, he was doing a little science there. I think.
Yeah, I didn't know that interaction. So that's a very good tip to know
Yeah.
for anyone playing Justicar.
Oh, speaking of interactions that game, I learned something new when he caballed that Doomsayer. I thought that was amazing.
Oh yeah, that's a really cool play, and that turned out to. I mean, that was the Doom. So yeah, let's talk about that actually.
Yeah, 'cause, like-
Doomsayers and the Death Lord, the Battle of the Night. Why was there any transitioning over to your game against D Lineman? Was there any kind of logic behind dropping that Doomsayer?
Oh yeah, I mean that was looking back. That was kind of I mean definitely with it pulling the.
Yeah.
I don't know with that game like being in such an unfavored matchup. I was looking at that Death Lord a lot and thinking how it might be able to benefit me, but I don't know. I slipped up with letting it die on with letting that Doomsayer go off or something. I don't know.
He was able to kill
yeah,
his own Death
you-
Lord, and then the
right.
Doomsayer killed.
Doomsayer pulled out your Alex.
Yeah, my thought was that like he'd trade with the Death Spite and hit with the Death Lord into my Doomsayer, which would be a perfect 7 damage, and then the Death Lord's left at 1 health, and that maybe
So you assumed he would try to kill off the Doom.
yeah,
Doomsayer.
and
Okay.
that wound up not.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
it's as we were saying, it's the most unfavored matchup in the game. And it's very difficult to try to find a light at the end of the tunnel and try to make a path towards that light. So I totally understand kind of trying to figure out some way to figure it out. But
I was trying real hard.
yeah.
When Alex Straza was gone, I missed that damage.
And you'll see this in the VOD, but actually we calculated the damage, and looking at his hand, if you had actually
Pyroblasted it on turn like 12 or something.
Yeah, like there's at one point where you actually had the damage, including his hero power, to win. And you actually almost pulled off what I would say is like a 95 to 5% matchup or something like that.
Interesting. I counted it up a few times. I'll definitely rewatch that.
Oh yeah, I could be wrong. I was wrong. I remember one season I was wrong on one of your freeze mage math. But I will. I think definitely double check. But it's a very, very tough matchup. But anyway, focusing on the wins, you guys did a wonderful job. Any thoughts going into your last week? Or are you going to keep all that strategy under guard?
Yeah, we got to keep it under wraps.
You don't want to tell us your lineup? Okay, all right, that's fine.
All right, I mean, whatever.
I thought we were friends. That's fine.
I think we'll bring Patron Warrior.
Okay.
That's my thought.
That's a good tip. All right.
They should prepare for that.
The buzzers should prepare for that. All right. Well, we are going to go. Congrats. Congratulations to you and the team. And we will see you next week.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Good job, man.
All right. See you later.
All right. So for those, we are going to be back next week with the Warsong Commanders against the Starving Buzzards. These are the all-star teams finding their way to the top. It will be at 6 p.m. Eastern Time back here on this Twitch channel. Again, we did it on Sunday because Halloween is the night before. So no better way to eat all the candy that you got from trick-or-treating or whatever than having some with us here at THL. So for Viriday and Hertz Donut and Cassidy, we wish you guys the best. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.